What's up, guys? Luca here with an early show, an unexpected show. Yeah, I know I said last week I was like, we're not doing a show, but I decided that too many things had happened for me to not do a show. You know what I'm saying? With Insomniac being hacked, and wow, what happened this week? Yeah, Insomniac was hacked. We learned a lot of things about their next game, which is Wolverine. We saw some things about their roadmap, which call them go ahead and call them the new Marvel Game Studios because they will be making several Marvel games coming forward. And we also, oh, we learned that Mr. Kotick will be leaving. I do recall, I seem to recall having like a conversation with a couple of people, and some people were like, they're not going to let go of Bobby. And I'm just like, they're definitely letting him go. Microsoft has like this PR image to maintain. There's no way that they're keeping Bobby. It's just not going to happen, dude. So they let go. Well, Bobby is going to be leaving with a shit ton of money. So not much you can really do about that. You know what I'm saying? But Bobby's out, and then Lord, what else did we learn this week? There's a couple. Oh, the dude who hacked one. Who was part of the group who hacked. Um, Rockstar and leaked the information about Grand Theft Auto 6 and like some screenshots and some video imagery. He was sentenced to an indefinite stay at a mental facility because apparently he's got some mental health issues going on where he showed absolutely zero remorse for his actions, um,
He
that kind
didn't
of
get
thing.
arrested though.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, so a lot of things have happened, so I figured that we might as well be here to discuss them because what's up with these developers getting leaked? Like, do they not have any?
Oh no, this wasn't a leak. These guys got hacked. Like, Sony's weak ass cybersecurity, which got exposed back in the PS3 era. Clearly, they didn't upgrade after all this time because these boys got in real quick and escaped with 1.7 terabytes of data.
That's a lot of data.
That is a lot of
Yeah.
data they ripped. Like they had plenty of time to get that shit off there, and you have to wonder, as big as Sony, you're this massive corporation, you would have, relatively good cybersecurity, but clearly they need to consult with someone else. Like hit up Microsoft. I mean, Google's probably got good cybersecurity. Apple probably has it. Like hit up one of these big companies and can you help us out with the back end? Because this should not happen. Like, sure, there's been some leaks and little hacks here and there. Like, famously, Nintendo had something, and there's been like little leaks and whatnot. Like the dude who got arrested for the Take Two thing, um, but not to this scale. So, yeah, man, shout out to them. I guess they didn't get their 2 million they asked for, so they did the deed.
Yeah, and they were right to not pay them. If they had paid them, it would have opened up a very dangerous door that would not be able to be closed. You never try to
Hmm.
reason with people like that when it comes to these kinds of situations because you open yourself up to more attacks. But what's up, Drav? Back from the dead said, "Hey everyone, I just got off work. I'll be listening on the drive home. What's up? Salute to you. What's up, Soul Leader? What's up, Lionel? What's up, Nola? What's up? They can't stop me. What's up, Cassie? What's up, Spencer? Ray? What's up, guys?" So yeah, like Sony security really sucks. Like I'm not gonna lie, dude. It's pretty bad. Me and Slomo were having a conversation about this in which Shlomo was talking about how this was a group of people who were organized, dedicated, and probably had been watching Sony for a long time in order to gather as much information as they had. If you'd like to elaborate more on that, Slow.
Yeah. So I know everyone keeps saying like, how did they someone keep getting hacked and this, and I've even said it in jest, but you got to understand that the company is at a higher profile and they're in more popular than most companies are. Um, and so that higher profile and more attention gets the attention of people who are professionals at what they do. So I'm not talking like script kiddies that like basically took a script that someone else wrote, modified it a little bit for the occasion, and then deployed it and then bragged about it on the internet. Those are kids who just want to get the dopamine hit of doing something of that scale. What I'm talking about are people who typically, when they do the kind of hacks that they do, they don't let anyone know. There's no bragging, and they've hacked you months or years ago, and they sit in your network with access to it, and they wait. They gather information, and then they sell it. And typically, they don't come to you and say, "Hey, give me $2 million," or this goes out there, because the biggest thing about this is that they don't want you to know that you got hacked, because the thing that you do when you know you got hacked is you go look where the leak is. When I say leak, I mean the leak in your security. You go plug the hole of how they got in. And so instead, they go sell that information to other people. And that's what usually happens in this situation. They did want $2 million from Insomniac, and as Luca said, and she's correct with this, you don't pay, because if you pay, now you've made a signal to an entire community of people who do this kind of thing that we're fair game. You want to get paid? Go hack us, because we've already proven, we've set a precedent already that we will pay money for it to information to not get out there. And there's also no guarantee that you pay the money and then they don't hack you. I mean, I'm sorry, or they don't divulge that information. You don't have any kind of assurances that won't happen. This stuff typically does happen. This particular kind of ransomware usually happens, unfortunately, to hospitals. Hospitals have really, really bad security, and with outdated systems, outdated operating systems, easy exploits all through their networks. They will pay money for consultants to come in, and then the consultants will tell them, "Hey, look, you've got all these issues that needs to be shored up," and they'll be like, "Okay, so you're saying I gotta take down these mandatory systems I need to keep people alive for how long? So they can be upgraded?" No. Sorry, it's just not. That the cost of that isn't worth it. And then they pay later on when a company comes through, completely takes control of those systems and doesn't allow them to get them back until they pay money. And unfortunately, because of the situation, these hospitals, these are life or death situations, they do pay. So this is why this kind of particular crime it happens so frequently, because there is a precedent in other industries where they get paid for it. They get the money. And so that's where we are with this. As a network engineer, I have to kind of worry about these kind of things. As you set up a network, you're worrying about firewalls, you're worrying about security ways to kind of keep your data safe. You're worrying about ease of use for the people who work in your company so that they can be able to get their job done. Yet you're trying to balance that with security to keep other people from getting to it. And when we had the pandemic just 3 years ago, and actually had quite really isn't quite over, but kind of sort of over, like we're in this weird mixed period. You got companies that were at one point, you had to go into the office to do your job, period, and that was more secure. And then they opened it up with remote work, where
play.
now remote play, right? Everyone's on PS portals. No, they opened it up with remote work, and they did so quickly because they needed to get back to work, but it wasn't well thought out plans to do remote work that actually kept their infrastructure secure.
And you gotta
And
remember
this
that
is it.
the average user is a complete and total brainlet when it comes to computer
Hmm.
stuff. Like, complete just brain dead, I'm telling you, I'm telling you. And so that opens people up to more risks as well, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, the two biggest ways that networks get hacked. One is social engineering, which is essentially you coerce someone into giving up information they shouldn't have gave up, and that allows it to happen. And the other way, you could have a rock solid network, great firewalls, great like expensive equipment that you spent that gets the job done. You could be doing like geological IP address blocking, where you block certain countries that just do certain things that they shouldn't be doing just outright. You could be doing all kinds of stuff, and then one of your employees will click on a link on the email that they weren't paying attention to and didn't realize that email wasn't from Bob in accounting, and bam, you're done. It just like that. You can just have your entire network brought down from someone's little mistake. So I know of ways to have the flexibility that you need in a network while also keeping it like 98% secure. But even then, if a group of people are dedicated enough, eventually they'll get you. Like you'll stop the scripts out there that just randomly choose IP addresses and then will try to brute force credentials to your network by randomly choosing common words, and everyone typically uses admin as a username, but common passwords or whatever, and they try to get into your network. Yeah, you'll stop those, and you'll stop like people who know what they're doing. They're pretty dedicated, but they know what they're doing. But if you got a group of hackers that are intent on getting your data, eventually they're going to get it. So just the reality of things.
yeah. So let's talk about some of the things that were leaked during this hack. This hack. Okay, so oh Lord have mercy. So a lot of the stuff that I had from earlier got taken down. I mean, rightfully so, right? Do you have any other
Mhm.
links about the stuff that they plan on doing for the future?
Oh, Insomniac. I did.
Mhm.
Let's see here.
I got it.
All right, go ahead, King.
Alright, so Insomniac's timeline is they had Venom, Wolverine. Do you want the specific years or just the list
Yeah,
of
yeah.
games?
Give me the specific years, please.
Okay, so this guy has that doesn't make sense. He's got it wrong. Just because
Well,
it's the only
Venom is in 2025.
Yeah, so
yeah.
we're getting a standalone Venom DLC, which I'm very curious what they actually plan on doing with that and what character we're going to follow based on the ending of Spider-Man 2. It just kind of has me scratching my head a bit, making me wonder like, okay, well, who's going to be Venom in this?
Yeah, yeah, and they
Mhm.
from what was revealed about it, of course, not going to talk story or anything like that, but it's supposed to be an all new storyline that continues from Spider-Man 2 and leads into Spider-Man 3. You'll play as Venom, and
Venom.
various Venom. That's the new guy. No, you'll play as Venom and various other Spider heroes. So if you played Spider-Man 2, you probably have an idea of which heroes they're talking about. It's going to take place in New York City. and the boroughs are going to be quote unquote carnage infected. So let's just kind of continue on the stuff that we knew from Spider-Man 2. Supposed to be 8 to 10 hour standalone experience. So you're thinking like the scope of like Miles Morales with about 12 missions, and yeah. So that's the scope of that. It's a smaller game than Spider-Man 2, but around the same size and amount content as Miles Morales.
Then after that, you have Wolverine in 2026.
Which it's nice to have an idea of when they're coming out. Any chances of this being pushed back further, considering many elements of the story were leaked?
They might change some stuff around. They might delay it to like maybe they were going to bring it out in like September and they delay it to like November or something.
Maybe the problem is that details for the contract they have, the license they have with Marvel came out, and so there's kind of not a lot of leeway with some of these things when it comes to that. When you get the timelines like nailed down, Marvel wants their money. Like so they've got this what is it? There's a portion of the contract that talks about if it can get canceled, determined by certain things not happening. Like one, if the game doesn't sell 6 million copies at within 1 year, then that will terminate the contract. But I've seen some people speak on that potentially delaying the game might cause some problems with the contract and whatnot. So yeah.
It might do. And then we have Spider-Man 3 in 2028.
Yes, Miles Morales simulator. I'm sorry, go ahead.
300 and what was it? 85 million.
Yes.
I'm like how, like how, but okay. Spider-Man 3 in 2028. Then we have Ratchet and Clank in 2029. Then in 2030 you have X-Men. And then there's a new IP. So you're getting another Ratchet and Clank game in 2029 and a new game in 2031. But until then, all you got is Marvel games. So shout out to the Marvel studio.
Also, beyond 2032, where the new IP is supposed to be, there is another X-Men game. So that's like X-Men 2 or X2, however you want to call it.
There's
and
like some online games too, right?
Well, they didn't state which were online, but I was having this discussion with a few of the boys, and most likely the online game would be the X-Men game because it would make more sense because you can involve all the X-Men characters. So you could have like a 4-player co-op or something with the X-Men characters. So out of because Spider-Man doesn't really make sense for a multiplayer game, and Ratchet and Clank won't be multiplayer, and so
but they were kind of planning some kind of multiplayer for Spider-Man 3. The Great Web was what it was called. I think people were saying that was canceled. So I didn't see where in the hacked information that it was canceled, but that's the word that it's not going to happen. But there was like supposed to be a multiplayer portion of Spider-Man 3 that was supposed to launch with Spider-Man 3. This was like on the same slide that was showing there'd be a part 1 and a part 2 to Spider-Man 3. That where part 1 would come out in 2028 and then part 2 would come out in 2029. So
wait, I'm sorry. There's a part. They're splitting this up in parts.
Yes,
yeah.
Unfortunately.
Okay, you're not across the Spider-Verse, all right? You can't be doing stuff like
no.
that.
What happens?
This is where everyone was talking about $100 games because when they showed the pricing of it, part 1 was $50, and then part 2 the next year would be $50. And so people was like, well, so for the full game, you know, the same kind of logic where people have, like, people say Final Fantasy VII Remake isn't a full game.
That is where Square Enix is the worst thing to ever happen, because it's given Sony this idea, it seems, that releasing your games in parts generates more money, of course, and it probably gives you time to get each part done, but is just a completely stupid idea. Square Enix is completely stupid for even thinking of it. So please, no one copy what Square Enix do, because Square Enix, they got their head up their ass. So just don't copy what
I
they
believe
do.
the Final Fantasy remake, it works out for it though, right?
Yeah, because it's
It
not.
it
It's
works out
not.
because it's a new story. Essentially, it's not a remake of the original. So they could tell things differently and split it up. Obviously, there's some crossover, but I still submit it is a dumb idea having 3 different parts to your game. I mean, it makes more money because now you get to charge 70 for 3 games. So one game that would have just cost 70 is now worth, what is it, 210? So I don't know.
But the thing is that, like, when Final Fantasy VII Remake, or the 3 parts of the Final Fantasy VII sequel, whatever you want to call it, like, you look at the scope of how much content that was in Remake, you add it all together with, I mean, we don't know. Actually, they did kind of say how big Rebirth was supposed to be, but I just can't remember how long it said it would take to complete the game if you just mainline the main content and not do the side content. And we got no idea with the third game. All that content for the kind of game that you're getting with the visual fidelity, that's there isn't a console out there that's that can, like, you're talking about like 4 different discs or some crap, like back in the day when Final Fantasy VII came out and it was on, like, multiple discs. You're talking about a humongous game to fit all that on there, and that's just not feasible. Like, it makes sense to split that in half. Now, this Spider-Man 3 game, I don't know why you would need to do that, but I think a lot of what we saw in this hack about Spider-Man 3 is very much still up in the air. Like, I don't think all that stuff is set in stone. What Venom and Wolverine are doing, those are far more, because they're sooner to be released, far more solidified than what they're trying to do with Spider-Man 3. So
Either way, it is a completely dumb idea. So please don't do it. Don't copy it. Because it's like, because you can have big games and it could be on, like, you think about Baldur's Gate 3, it's a humongous game, but I can't remember, is the actual physical edition 2 discs or is it 1? Oh, it's 2 discs on Xbox, and then it's 3 discs. I can't remember. Either way, it's a humongous ass game, so understandable releasing in parts. I don't know. This whole leak revealed way too much, and everyone is happy. Well, everyone who isn't PlayStation and Insomniac is probably happy reading this because they got information for free, essentially.
Yeah, which I do think it's unfortunate that it happened, Like,
It
nobody wants
is.
to see their work be, released like that. But what's up, Ever?
yeah, he's looks like he's
probably still
Oh
muted.
no, I'm
muted.
here.
Yeah.
I'm here. I couldn't find the window. Trying to get off mute. What up?
What up, what up?
Long
What's up,
time.
man?
We have not podcasted in a while. Slow-mo is always giving me grief on GCP.
You deserve it.
You see what I'm talking about? Surprised you didn't have the Sonic backslap picture on there.
Oh, hey, man, look, it's always here whenever it is needed.
I knew it.
So
I feel
there you
better
go.
now. It feels good that. Okay. What did I miss? You guys were talking about the hack?
Yeah, we're
Yes.
talking about the hack, and some of the things that we've learned from it. But I want to talk about journalistic integrity because somebody seems to be lacking it. All right, not that I really expect much from most of the game journalists in this industry. In my opinion, the majority of them. Okay, let me not say that. Let me not say the majority of them. Though some of them who are well known. Okay, some of them who are well known seem to have this issue with staying impartial about certain things, and they end up showing their ass and coming off as hypocrites when it comes to other things. Now, Greg Miller, somebody that the ponies absolutely adore, seemingly, because he's very much on the fuck PC guys train, which I understand because fuck PC guys, right?
Yes,
He's very
I
much on the
appreciate him for that.
he's
Yeah,
very much
no,
on
no,
the
no.
fuck PC guys trains. PlayStation
I just want to say real quick that it's funny that a guy who looks like that he styles his hair with motor oil has the audacity to talk about how other people look dirty and stuff and whatnot. It's just funny to me. It's like a homeless guy talking about other people's hygiene. It's crazy. Go ahead, continue.
Okay, tell us how you really feel. But Mr. Miller came out and he stated that, matter of fact, I can just show y'all. So Mr. Miller came out, he said, the Insomniac leak is an invasion of privacy done on a... Oh my God, can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, okay.
I couldn't hear you. All I hear is the tiny violins from Greg.
This is Insomniac leak is an invasion of privacy done on a massive scale. That's why today we will not be reporting on the details of the leak. Instead, we'll discuss how this affects the people working on your favorite games. And then he got this you'd
of Grand Theft Auto 6. If you were under a rock all weekend, maybe offline, maybe you missed it, Grand Theft Auto 6 did in fact leak a whole bunch of footage from it, a whole bunch of information, and now we are dealing with the fallout as Rockstar and Take-Two, pretty litigious people, have taken to the internet to be like, yo, we're gonna fucking kill this guy.
Hello everyone, it's me, Greg Miller from Kinda Funny Games, and if you didn't know, Insomniac was held ransom by some cyber hackers types.
The music is perfect.
Saying that they wanted $2 million or they'd release a whole bunch of Insomniac files.
So yeah, he let's see here. Oh, not only that, it seems like they also covered the Capcom leak where it says, you guys covered the Capcom leak and detailed the information and said leak. Personal info was leaked then, so what makes it different today? It's because the Capcom devs probably won't be tweeting about it. So this person's like,
he also doesn't have a personal relationship with Capcom.
Yep, that's
they haven't put him in Resident Evil games yet.
See, that's the problem. Kinda Funny was put into Spider-Man. They have a biased relationship with Insomniac, so they can't report on it because they probably burned the bridge. So it's understandable, but at the same time, it makes you now look inconsistent because you had all this energy for Capcom, for Take-Two, for Nintendo. But now all this energy switches up when it comes to a studio that you have personal ties with. Now, what you should have done is said, this is what it is. I have personal things, so I'm not going to say anything about it. But instead, you don't speculate. You don't specify that. So now you just look like you're, what, because it's Insomniac, you're not going to report on it, but you're happily reporting what Capcom did, even though it's the same shit.
Honestly, what Greg should do is be like, you know what? Yeah. And what are y'all gonna do about it? Nothing. Okay, nothing.
But I don't even think it would have went that far though, right? Like if he just said, "Listen, these are my personal friends. I was in the game. It's kind of a conflict of interest for me to report about it, so I'm not going to talk about it."
And
no
people
one
would have respected that.
Right now.
Yeah. But instead, he tried to get on his high horse. He tried to take the high moral thing of like, it's wrong to talk about this kind of stuff. We really kind of like point the finger at his colleagues in the industry that are reporting.
How dare you wagging your finger on it, right?
Yeah, and then makes his entire organization look hypocritical because they are hypocrites because they double down on that same nonsense and then like straight up try to gaslight everyone with, oh, like no one knew about the Capcom thing. No one knew about Suicide. You literally talked about Suicide Squad leak the day before this. Like, what are you talking about? So,
So Slow-Mo, you want to read what that? You want me to read it? I'll read it. It'll be interesting to see when the next leak happens. Okay, will you have this same stance? Or revert back to the same policy of reporting the leak like you've always done? Growth is one thing. Picking and choosing when to use your moral high ground is another. Let me go ahead and retweet that. I can't believe I didn't retweet it already. That right there. Some smart words from a smart man. All right.
Smart.
Oh, thank you.
Smart. Those are strong words.
Yes, he's very smart, very intelligent.
He hasn't got Alzheimer's yet. Then, okay.
Until he starts talking about
Wow.
Doom.
You mean that amazing
That amazing book.
cinema?
Yes.
The
book.
Dune is
cinema?
amazing.
Fantastic.
Okay, Dune's fantastic.
Yeah, the book is great.
So's the movie.
The movie was like the Horizon Forbidden West of movie. Anyway,
I don't know about any of that. because,
all right.
Dune Part 1 was fucking phenomenal. Okay, this guy's just
visual
a hater.
NyQuil.
A hater. All right, just because you fell asleep. How old are you?
I'm 42. I just turned 42 last Saturday.
Maybe you fell asleep because you were tired. Did you ever?
I know. You know what I didn't fall asleep on? Rebel Moon. How about that?
Well, I fell asleep on Rebel Moon twice. I still ain't finished it.
That's because you're 43.
What the? Actually, I'm 42 for the next month. So high.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Okay.
Ramon, listen. You guys know I am a known ageist, and my ageism goes both ways. Wait, real quick, let me tell you guys something. I was hanging out with some Gen Zers, right, a couple months ago, and also one of my millennial coworkers, right. I made a reference to Lassie, and they did not. The Gen Zers did not know what the fuck I was talking about. They're like, what's Lassie? Who's Lassie? I was like, bruv, oh my god, I'm old.
Can I just say that is everything wrong with our society? Right? Once the youth no longer know about Lassie, it's all downhill, and we get TikTok and ceiling challenges and naked people on Twitch.
Oh,
that's what it's all about.
People on Twitch. I will say this. I do love TikTok. I think it's a fun app. And it's very I will say TikTok's the most influential app that there is currently. So
I agree with that.
All right.
And it's run by the Chinese.
But what is it?
Yep. TikTok.
So is America.
I'm like, what isn't? Like,
yeah,
what isn't?
Journalistic integrity.
They better not miss a payment.
Journalistic integrity was called into question, which I mean, not really a surprise, because like I said before, the gaming industry, me and the gaming industry have beef. Like, I don't like some of the more outspoken developers. I don't like some of the more outspoken quote unquote journalists. They're all very arrogant. Not all, but some of them have displayed some very arrogant tendencies. Some of them have been very hypocritical, aka, the Frost situation where she was verbally accosting people and then getting upset when people said shit back to her, that kind of thing. And then no one called her out. None of her peers called her out for her disgusting behavior. It's all one way, where it's a us versus them sort of thing, right? A lot of the time. And I don't feel bad about it either, But
let me,
go ahead.
if I may. I think the issue is, in this industry, there is an uncomfortable line between criticism and journalism, right? And there should be a difference between journalists and critics. But because in this industry we do both, and because criticism, a lot of it relies on access, right? So if in order for you to do your job, and no one is saying that you shouldn't do what you have to do to do your job, right? But if you doing one part of your job impairs you from doing the other part of your job, there's a problem, right? So if you go to any real newsroom, you'll have a separation between the advertising department and the journalism department, right? Like and never the twixt shall meet, right? But in this world, because we have to be, or because they have to play both roles, you're always going to get this sort of conflict of interest, right? So, and if we compare it to Hollywood, right, Variety and the Hollywood Reporter, their critics are completely different from the people who do the reporting on the film studios and what's going on in the background in Hollywood, right? And that's just not the case here. And I think you're never sort of going to get away from that, because again, none of these people are owed access to anything, so they have to preserve their relationships. And in preserving those relationships, you get things like you get with Kind of Funny. So I think that this sort of games journalism really has to ask itself a question of what they want to be going forward, because I don't think you can do both, right? And this is why you get all the pushback. And again, if there are people, I can name maybe on one hand the people I would call actual like journalists versus critics, or people passing off opinions as journalism. Like I would consider obviously Jason Schreier an actual journalist. A lot of people don't like him, but I don't think anyone would disagree that he's a journalist. I would consider Gene Park a journalist. I would consider Tom Warren, I would consider a journalist. Now, Jez Corden, I would also consider a journalist, not like he doesn't have a journalism degree, but what I appreciate about Jez is that he will tell you which way he leans, instead of these other people who have those sort of preferences or biases, and then you call them out on it, and then they look at you like they start clutching the pearls, right? Gnashing the teeth, pulling out the hair, like, how dare you even broach the subject, right? But anyone reading it, anyone who's pays attention in these things can see those things. So I just think if we're gonna do this, I know what Rachel Maddow is, right? Because they'll tell you up front, and I know which way Jez leans, but these guys, I don't think they should do the punditry. I think if you're going to report the news, you report the news, and you do it straight up.
Yeah, it's people are always, they're like they always insert their opinions mixed in with the news and everything like that. I do agree. People, I mean, as we all know, the reason why people don't like being labeled one thing or another is because they feel like it diminishes their point and they won't be taken as seriously. And I'm gonna keep it real with you. Depending on how big of a pony or a bot or a PC guy you are, right? Depending on how, like, and if you're always taking the side that you represent, it really it does diminish your opinion, you know, for me. But that's my perspective, right? If you're someone who's always defending Xbox or always defending PlayStation, I'm not really going to take what you have to say seriously in a lot of cases, right? Because my first thought would be like, well, you're just defending it because you're a bot or a pony. And so I understand why people don't like being labeled one thing or another, but I really do think that for people who are more inclined to actually just be honest about their preferences and be like, yeah, and what are you going to do about it? Nothing. And I'm going to share my opinion. And guess what? Who cares, right? Like, for people who are more honest about their preference, I do have a lot more respect for people like that instead of people who try to hide behind, oh, what do you mean? I have all the consoles. So do we all have all the fucking consoles. All right.
Anyone who cares to pay attention to the news as closely as all of us do probably has all the consoles. That has nothing to do with which one you prefer.
Exactly. So what's up, Foxy girl? How you doing? She's saying, hey, Lulu. And Pano just wanted to say happy holidays. And I finally got the Series X. Hey, shout out to you. Mainly because I think my girlfriend misses the PC I've been hogging. LOL. That's real. That's real. I definitely understand that. What's up, Crispy? What's up, Royal? Movie came out in 94. I was born in 03. Oh, I think like hold on. Oh, you're right. Yeah, I was born in 1993, so I didn't even watch the movie when it like came out, but there was also a 2005 Lassie film too. So, what's up, Amar? How you doing? So yeah, but appreciate that, my girl. So anyway, yeah, journalistic integrity, it's lacking. It's lacking for a lot of a lot of these guys, but it is
That
what
it
it is,
is.
man.
I mean,
But are they journalists, right?
No.
And you said
No.
something earlier, Luca, when they're, defending something. Should a journalist defend anything?
No,
No,
it's just reported in the news.
right. I mean,
Right?
this is also why when we go to like publications like the Washington Post, when there's an opinion piece where the writer is interjecting how their view on it and not necessarily reporting what the facts are, what do they call it? They don't
Clearly
call it
labeled an opinion piece, right?
exactly. But like we don't get that when we go to these media outlets for gaming. They try to blur the lines there, and it's just when you see how it's supposed to be and then you see how the way they do it, a lot of them how they do it, then you see the big difference, because frankly you shouldn't be worried about your access to a particular platform or a particular developer when you're considering the content that you're going to do, the previews that you'll do, or the reviews or whatever. Like I shouldn't have to just immediately ignore your preview, because your preview is not going to be honest in what you actually play with the game. And then wait for your review to come out that's actually going to have some honesty. Like I've seen that multiple times from various outlets when it comes to games that they are partnered with a platform on, and they'll do the preview of it. The preview is just glowing. Everything's great. And then the review comes out, and then all these things that were clearly there when you played it all get revealed. I'm like, why couldn't you say that before the review dropped?
Because the check did not clear yet, Slow-Mo. You know this. But so to that end, I mean, do we have to call a spade and say most games journalism is publisher marketing in disguise? Or is it, do we need to clearly classify punditry versus journalism?
I mean, at the end of the day, most of the I don't think most of the people who are like known for their more outlandish views when it comes to the gaming industry, I don't think of them as actual journalists. There was a very interesting thread on what is a journalist like a couple years back. I can't remember who tweeted about it. Was it Ainsley? I don't know. I don't remember who tweeted about it, right? But he was talking about, like, they were talking about how, like, there's no real journalists, quote unquote, in this industry, really, So it's, the people who didn't go to school for journalism, they don't have journalism degrees or anything equivalent to that. It's just something they kind of fell into, seemingly. So it's just like, I don't really think much about a lot of people when it comes to this industry. Like, yes, of course, Jason Schreier, I do, I think he's a dickhead, honestly speaking. But, I respect his work. Gene Park, I respect his work. That's my dude. Love Jez, that's my guy. And Tom Warren, I think Tom is someone who's very willing to report on things, even if it may get him in trouble. Tom, in some respects, he was banned on Reset Era for making a quote unquote lighthearted joke or whatever. He said, I think people are still upset that you can play PlayStation games on PC with a winky face. And then he's been called all sorts of names by people like the Red Dragon, who he talks about Tom Warren being an Xbox shell, like the Red Dragon isn't a fake PlayStation cuck, you know what I'm saying? So it's just,
Yeah,
it's
but wait a
interesting
minute.
like that.
First of all, I love that this week, because Tom was like, I got time, and he was going after everybody. But Tom Warren is not an Xbox shield. That's the beat that he covers, but it is not that. And Tom Warren, time and time again, Xbox people were mad at him because he was cursing people out for saying, like, don't even suggest that a big $1 trillion corporation should ignore a whole government. And people got,
I mean, he's not. You're right. I mean, he's not, because I myself, back when I was in my extreme bot era, I definitely I definitely quote retweeted Tom Warren when he was criticizing Xbox before. Like, that was years ago during my extreme botism. Okay, so I know that he's not an Xbox shit.
I've known Tom Warren since the Windows Phone days. We actually met in New York at the Windows 8 launch. And I've been following his stuff since he was working with The Verge. I think it was This Is My Next first, and then it turns to Verge. But anyway, that's not Tom, and we shouldn't forget Steven Totillo, right? But other than this handful of people that we just named,
Another good one is Jeff Grubb.
I'll add another one that I think is kind of odd where she comes from. I think her name's Rebecca Valentine that works at IGN. I think she's done some very good investigative journalism pieces on like the inner workings of Bungie and various other developers that have had some kind of turmoil or other things like that. There's a lot of guys, or not a lot. There's a handful of people out there that are really getting the work done. So good for them.
So whoever reported on what article was it? Oh, whoever reported on what was going on in Bungie, I think they did a good job detailing all that as well.
That's what I just mentioned.
Oh,
Rebecca.
her? Okay.
I think that's her name. Yeah, Rebecca Valentine for IGN.
Yeah. So they don't think much of gamers, so I don't think much of them being like the fake games journalists and stuff, right? So it's like I'm happy that again, I think when it comes to reporting the news, you should not be inserting your opinion in there unless it's clearly stated that's an opinion piece, which they do that, right? Like Slomo was saying, right? So, but yeah, so pretty much other than that, what's up, Thodical?
What up, though, man?
What up? What up?
Ooh, out here
hello, good sir.
these streets. Ah, man, I'm good, man. Happy to be here with y'all.
I'm happy that you're here, my boy.
Listening to the conversation that you guys were having.
Yeah. So I did want to circle back to the Insomniac leak. Out of all the games listed there, what are you guys most excited for?
X-Men.
X-Men.
I'm a massive X-Men fan, so
X-Men, aka the game that we will not get until we are 50.
Speak for yourself.
I know you won't get to you 50.
All right.
You gonna
Didn't they say it was coming out in 2030 something?
No.
Well, how old are you now?
Sure, there might be a playable build. There might be a playable build somewhere out there. People playing on PC right now. I don't know.
Excuse me. All right.
Yeah, I see it is 2030, but I mean, let's be real. I'll be what?
I might be close to 50 by that time.
I'll be 40.
20. What would I be like? 38 or something like that.
Yeah,
you started with 20.
I will be
53.
I will be 49.
What?
Unless it gets delayed, and games get delayed every day.
Come on, so you are not 41 years old.
He's 42.
Are you actually 42? Man, I thought you were older than
for
that.
now. He'll be 43.
What? You're older than me. I have to keep reminding you that you're older than me.
I'm not disputing how old I am either. I'm just saying I thought you were older than that.
I have to keep reminding you. Again, this is what old people do, where you have to keep reminding them of things you've already told them. I have to keep reminding you that you're older than me, and therefore,
because you're always this is the thing. The perception is, it seems like it seems like you're older because you always got something aching going on with you.
That's probably not it. It's I'm always probably nagging you about something that you were supposed to do that you didn't do.
Old people do nag the hell out of people. You absolutely right about that.
Not geezer fight. Oh my god.
But that's not what I was thinking though.
Fight.
I called Slomo like first thing it calls me the other day on the phone, and he calls me like when he just wakes up, and it sounds like a giraffe was dying in the middle.
A giraffe?
Wow.
I was like, what in the world? I said, what is wrong with you? He's like, I just woke up.
Okay. Forte, hold on. Because this is what Forte does, where he removes all the context.
No,
what time of the day? What time of the day was it?
It was like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. You had just got through working your overnight shift, and you just woke up in the middle. You just woke up.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Let me say this. I'm just gonna say
saying, you
this.
sound like a dying giraffe.
Speaking, listen, you guys remind me of Felix Unger and Oscar Madison.
I thought you
And
were
I know you're
remind
old
you of
enough
you
to know
and
who that is.
Asante.
It's the Odd Couple, people. Come on, we're old enough.
No, I don't know anything about that. You
Yes,
know,
you do.
again,
I'm
because you're
lying.
older than me, everyone.
By a month.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I will
No,
stand on that.
So-
with this age disparity that's
Hey,
only
Luca,
nearly
Luca.
12, 30 days.
Yes,
Look,
sir.
I just have a thought. Slow-Mo and 40 will be in retirement homes by the time this game comes out, and we'll be 40.
That's what I was saying. We will be 50
won't.
when this game comes
I
out.
People
won't be
don't
in a-
retire
You
in their
guys are
50s
running
over
into
here,
my
Mike.
I
Right?
know. I have no like you.
The only
like,
thing I pray for is to have no arthritis in my fingers so I can still enjoy games. That's what I pray for when it comes to gaming, at least.
So
I mean, to be honest, though, gaming by the time you get to that point will be radically different than what it is now.
It'll be
So,
on your
I mean,
phone.
yeah.
Yeah. And at
X-Men's
that
gonna be
point,
a
I'll
mobile
do
game.
something else. I'll be doing
Like,
something else. At that
I
point.
mean, but gaming could also be you. They could have, sensors where you could control the game with your mind. I don't know. Like, you want to look left, you look left. You want to. That's like what 10, 15 years, 20 years. Like, gaming's gonna be nowhere near what it is now. So
We'll
who
get
knows?
people will be recording videos in 8K by the time
Nah,
that game comes out.
People are gonna be caught in 8K.
No,
Caught in 8K? Oh Lord.
actually, no, they won't be 8K. They'll probably be 16K by then. And then,
Dang, we jumping generations, literally.
well, no, like 20 years, 16K, perfectly possible. And then,
It's not
what?
20 years though. It's like 2030.
No, I'm not on about X-Men. I was just
Oh,
on
okay,
about in
got
general.
you.
When you're talking about the whole arthritis thing,
Oh, well,
I
yeah.
was like, yeah. By the time you get around to that, you in particular, like, who knows? Like,
See, look, don't say that, Singer, because you'll be the person that get it at 40 and you be mad as hell.
I was about to say that. I know people who got arthritis in their hands before they hit 30. Of course,
Yeah,
they were
hell
like
yeah. I know
they were
people.
like drummers and stuff like that. So they worked with their hands a little too much. One guy was a line chef and he got arthritis in his hands, but the kind of work that they did kind of cause that to happen. But
I know for now that if I play for long periods of time, my hands start cramping up. So
Yeah.
I'm at that age.
Yeah, when I did car stereo installation and stuff at Best Buy, I did it for 6 years, and literally by the time I was almost done, like by the time I finished doing that, I had carpal tunnel, and I would have like the onset of arthritis. It felt like in my right hand. It was terrible.
That's stage, eh?
Man, and that was like what 29 that when that happened. So
2029, huh?
I said 20. I was gonna say 28, but then I just said 29. So yeah,
Okay.
I was gonna say another number and I just didn't.
But
Yeah, that's
for
a very wide berth right there, Luca.
For in the future, though, you probably won't even need your hands to play games anyway. You might have some full dive headsets that you can put on.
Oh
And
man, you might be playing with your feet at that point.
No, you're just playing with your mind. I don't know.
Oh man, straight up playing. So
you would-
at that point, we will be in Ready Player One.
Pretty much, because you won't need to worry about your hands and whatnot, because you can do all the actions in the game by thinking it. So, hey, it's a possibility. You never know. Don't say never. So,
Oh, guess what? I saw Everborn. I'm so happy to see you, Everborn. Guess what happened? Guess what I did today? Or guess what happened at my store today?
What's happening?
I officially sold my last. And you're gonna love this. I officially sold my last copy of Sonic Frontiers and any Sonic that's in my store.
wow, how long did it take? It took
there's
over a year
no
for that to
Sonics.
happen.
There's no Sonics in my store on any platform right now.
Nice.
I actually Googled. I actually went into the system when I saw that you were going to be. I actually went in the system before I left work to see if there was any left, and no, we had sold the last copy of it today in our store.
Also, on that note, shout out to the Insomniac leaks, because we now have confirmation that Sonic Frontiers sold way more than Ratchet and Clank.
I mean,
Wow,
Sonic,
how
but Sonic,
exciting!
but wait a minute, but
Wow.
Sonic's a bigger IP
when was
though.
that? When was that a comparison?
I'm just saying.
But
It's a
you're
fact.
making it one because Sonic is a
I-
bigger IP.
No, I mean it's like mascots, they're cartoon characters or whatever. People are saying they
I've
wanted
never heard of
Sonic
the
to look like
comparison
Ratchet and
myself.
Clank.
Sonic is
Wow.
still bigger.
I mean,
who
just-
didn't think that would happen?
Well, no. We got Sonic looking homeless in slow mo.
Well, that's because
whatever.
Slow-Mo's up here being, you know how he's going to do it.
Everybody
when he
want to
saw
talk
you
about.
show up.
Everybody wants to ignore the 1.66 billion downloads or purchases of Sonic.
How many
And everybody
coins
wants
they
to say he's
create?
broke.
On
Everybody
mobile,
wants to say all of this.
all
But
that on
he's
mobile.
better off than Ratchet and Clank, though. Okay, as long as we can agree with that.
Oh man,
I think we're in agreement. Okay. I'm sorry for holding up.
I feel like you're picking on an IP that was never a part of the conversation.
20-year-old
You know, it's strange how like you didn't make these comparisons or any bets that Sonic would outsell Ratchet and Clank. No, you made a bet that it would outsell God of War Ragnarok.
I mean,
how'd that work out?
It was
I
You
down
made
say
there.
another bet.
you
made another bet this year. You doubled down on the bad betting and bet
Somebody
that
had to do it.
Sonic Superstars will outsell Mario Wonder.
You know what I should have bet on? I should have bet on
Nothing.
Dream Team.
You-
Because
who?
Dream Team, Sonic
Dream
Dream
Team,
Team,
too.
it
Dream
is
Team.
actually amazing. And I challenge anyone with an iPhone.
Who's snoring?
Luca?
I don't
No
know
one's
who's
snoring.
snoring, but
I
that's
thought I heard
valid
somebody
because
snoring.
I don't give a fuck about Sonic. Like, why are we talking about this?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna
'Cause it's
compare
Everborn.
Sonic, you compare it to. I will say no Sonic slander. Being a Sega kid,
Singer was. I
No,
knew it. Leaky saw it.
I was a Sega kid. I never had a Nintendo. All I had was Segas.
My man.
No, Leaky
So-
saw your icon moving when somebody started snoring. It was Singer.
No, but I wasn't though. All I said was,
Oh
That is
man,
a
that was
snore.
funny. That was
Okay.
funny.
The real Maslin in the chat was like, who would ever bet on Sonic over Mario? Nobody can be that high.
I would.
No, you
Everborn
wouldn't. No, you
wasn't
wouldn't. No, you
even
wouldn't.
on drug. He wasn't even on drugs when he said it, which is just crazy.
Wow.
Like,
I don't even smoke. I don't
okay,
smoke
like
or drink.
Luca's probably gonna lose her mind if we mention Sonic one more time. So
No,
go ahead, Luca.
I'm
Get
sorry
back-
for
get us back on
derailing. That
track.
was my fault for bringing up the fact that we did that. But sorry, Luca.
I mean, it's all good because I would choose Mario over Sonic any day of the week,
I
personally.
bet you would.
I choose Raymond. I choose Raymond over Sonic.
I'll choose Sonic over all of them, but that's because I'm a
Talk
Sega
about
kid, so I have to. You know.
You know who else is a Sega kid? Sarah Bond. But
Oh
anyway,
my god! Just
I
because
mean,
she
also
tweeted,
the Iron Lords are Sega.
just because of her
Sega
tweet.
kids.
she tweets about Sega all the time. She can't stop talking about Sega. She's worse than me.
Well, she probably hitting at something though. Hopefully.
Listen,
I just never had that connection with Mario.
she's just farming for engagement. You know, she's catching those
Catching those
fish. They're
strays out
jumping.
there. Catching those strays.
Everborn, he jumps on that hook every single time.
hey, she's gonna bring Sega home.
You
But
got a
let's move the
Sonic
show on.
blanket, don't you?
Because Luca, I will talk about this all night. So you gotta you gotta raid me in.
All right. Anyway. Oh God. Moving on from that. Anyway, moving on from that. So damn, I don't even know what to fucking say. I don't even know what to say. What else is there to talk about, guys? In the gaming space.
I mean, outside of people,
What is
going
everybody
crazy
playing?
about everything else.
I've been playing the finals.
Yeah,
Been playing the finals. I've been still playing Cyberpunk, and that's really about it, man. And Call of Duty, and Warframe. Warframe finally got cross save going, so I've been
I
playing.
know.
Warframe.
I saw your your Excalibur. What is it? Umber Excalibur or Excalibur?
Umbra. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I saw that. It looked nice.
I got 2 years of expansions to get caught up on now, so I'm excited for that.
I have more than that.
The only
Yeah.
games I've been playing is Fortnite, League of Legends, and I've been playing because I picked it up on the Steam sale. I've been playing what is it? Sword Art Online, Last Recollection, because I'm a huge Sword Art Online fan, and it is a fantastic game, despite what people think about Sword Art Online. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to hit y'all. Well, y'all, some people in my chat with like a throwback. Does anybody remember that movie Small Soldiers? It was. I'm talking to
Yes.
my like
Yeah.
millennial
Yes.
family.
Yeah.
The Gorgonites. Yep.
I had all of these fucking toys. I had all of them. That shit was so. Remember when Burger King and McDonald's and Wendy's used to actually give you fucking toys, like real toys? Like,
Mm-hmm.
do y'all remember that shit?
Yeah, it's your Happy
Mhm.
Meal. I remember.
Oh my god! Like, I'm just getting a lot of 90s nostalgia as I start to climb up there in age, man. Oh god, what am I gonna do when I'm your ages?
McDonald's
Well-
realized they don't have to do that
Wow.
no more.
I'm just
Well, I mean, if it's any consolation, Luke, I'll hit 40 before you do.
you will, yeah.
Only
It's-
by 3 years, but yeah, I mean, you won't be
At
far
the bottom.
behind.
Yeah. Exactly, Cassie. Small Soldiers was fucking awesome. Fucking amazing. Fucking amazing. I loved it so much. Like, it was just so good. And I listen, I know every generation says this. I think that my generation was like the best when it came to media and movies and toys. Oh my god, it was so amazing. Are the Gen Xers
Agree to
going to
disagree.
disagree?
We're not Gen Xers. We are the first millennials.
No,
Oh,
you're
man.
Gen.
Not like
you're
this.
No, 81. Gen X ended in 1980. Millennial started in 1981.
Oh, okay.
So Forte might be a Gen Xer right at the tail end.
79, baby.
Gen X.
So you guys
Um,
had better than Transformers, X-Men.
Transformers and X-Men were also in the 90s.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
Like-
they
like-
redid those cartoons as well.
Like
Okay,
a Mice from Mars.
Okay, but hold on. Ninja Turtles.
We had
Oh,
Ninja
you
Turtles.
yeah.
Yeah,
We
but
had-
not
we
the
had-
good
we had
one. You
Ninja
didn't have the good one.
Turtles.
Yeah,
And we had
the good ones.
You didn't have a real one.
Just like you
name,
had
name something that we've
Silverhawks.
I don't know what that is. No, you're right.
Exactly.
Silverhawks.
Yeah.
Okay, but we had gargoyles.
Oh yeah, Silverhawks.
So-
Bionic 6.
Thundercats.
Street Shark.
I watched Thundercats. So
I
I
Was it
watched
still
Street
coming
Shark.
on?
Street Shark.
Yeah.
Was it still coming on at 7:30 in the morning on Monday through Friday?
I watched He-Man. I watched G.I. Joe. I did not watch Voltron.
Oh man, Voltron, that's my heart right there. That's my heart.
Why did
So
watch
you
Exactly.
were watching the reruns of the shows that we watched when they were like airing.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but I still watch them though. So
But
I got to
but also-
experience that greatness along with my own greatness.
Also, the 90s, we had Pokemon, the Pokemon shows in the morning.
Pokemon,
Boo!
yeah.
No,
Every
that ain't
Saturday.
that's
Every
that's
Saturday.
not,
Listen,
No,
if you
that was
were
the
old
highlight.
enough, listen,
Pokemon is a global fucking phenomenon.
Listen,
Slow-mo. You
I-
can
I'm
I'm
hate
gonna
on
say
it all you
this.
want.
I'm gonna say
I am
this.
hating.
I'm gonna say this. You
Rugrats
can
is
say people can say that they watch all of these cartoons and all of this
Zoid's
stuff.
fucking fire.
But the one thing I will say is, unless you were a person that grew up, like, because you can see all this stuff now, is they show it everywhere pretty much. But unless you grew up watching Saturday morning cartoons and you had Sesame Street coming on at 11:30 p.m., that's when you
I
knew
mean,
the
I
day was
watched-
over.
I watched Sesame Street.
No, I'm just saying. But I'm specifically talking about Saturday mornings. It was from 7:30 to 11:30, and then Sesame Street came on, and that's when you knew your cartoon fix was over on Saturdays. If you didn't get a chance, that was like the greatest time of watching cartoons, was Saturday morning cartoons, and
I mean,
it's
I definitely
nothing
was
been like
watching
that.
Saturday morning cartoons, dude. We
What are
had
they now?
X-Men-
What is it?
we
Ben
had-
10 now or something?
I have no idea what the kids are doing right now, but we had X-Men the animated series, which is like
I'm
in
watching
my
Well, you're
YouTube
not
now.
Yeah, you can watch it on YouTube.
We
now.
also
I'm
we
just
also
saying, like,
had, hey
we
Luca,
had that. We had Batman the animated series. Come on,
hey
talk that.
Luca,
Well, we had that too.
We had
also-
we had that. Well, that was airing as soon when I would get off of school in middle school.
Mhm.
Batman the animated series. That's the way it started. It
Yes,
yeah,
started when I was
3:30.
like in
It's in the
7th
90s.
grade.
Right.
90s.
Hey Luca,
Yeah,
we
that
had
sounds about the same
Dexter's-
for me, yeah.
Luca, we had
Yeah.
Dexter's Laboratory.
We had Dexter's Lab.
We
We had
had
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Animaniacs.
Yeah,
had that too.
We
Animaniacs.
had
Yeah.
Pinky and the Brain.
South Park.
Yep, we also had
SpongeBob, which is
Hey
still
Arnold.
fucking airing at this point.
We also had Futurama.
Beavis and Butthead, Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy.
That was straight
The
up when I
Powerpuff
was in
Girls.
middle
Wait a
school.
minute. Luca, what year were you born?
1993.
So Batman started in 92 before you were born. I don't know if you can claim that.
I said 90s. Did it happen in the 90s?
It did happen in the 90s, but
So
it was
we were
before
talking
you.
about
That's more
90s.
part of us.
No. We were talking about 90s versus 80s. That's what we were talking about.
First of
I
all,
said the 90s cartoons were good.
But you are
Better than the
trying to
80s
take
cartoons.
you're trying to say your generation owns this, but you
I
would
didn't
not
say
have
that
even
first
been
of all,
of the
first of all-
age to
first of all-
appreciate this until that show was already canceled.
first of
What are
all-
you doing? You can't take that from us.
Hold on. First of all, I didn't say that my generation owned it.
You actually did say that.
No. I said growing up that we had like the best cartoons.
Ooh, Peaky in the Brain. Let's go. That was good too.
Exactly. You see, the 90s was full of, and we had the phenomenon there was Pokemon, and then we had all the other good shows. Like, come on.
Oh yeah, Jerry Springer. Did you guys watch Jerry Springer?
Yeah, everybody did. Who's gonna fight today?
Yeah, did you guys watch?
First of all, Luca, do you
Who's
know
gonna
who
fight
shot
today?
JR?
Shot JR.
You don't even know what I'm talking about. That's a
I have
Dallas.
no
fan.
idea. Yeah, I don't know what
Dallas TV show Dallas.
But let's be for real.
I don't know what that is.
Let's be for real. Most people don't, unless you. So, when you were born in 92, Luca, so that means you really didn't
93.
start 93. Oh, so you was born in 93. So that means you ain't really start watching and understanding
Until these shows
cartoons
were canceled.
until you was like 95.
So when I was 2?
Yeah, at 2, at probably
No,
1.5
nobody's-
at the earliest.
Nah.
No, it's gotta be late 90s before she was really watching that
Like,
stuff
really,
and
really
really
watching?
comprehending what
First
you
of
were
all,
saying.
I've been watching these kinds of shows my entire life. I
Well,
started
that's why I
watching
was-
anime before elementary school. So
Okay, well, elementary school starts at like 5.
yeah,
or
so
6.
before elementary school.
Well, that's why I said 2. That's why I gave you 2.
Yeah, no. So I'm giving that for you, Nautical.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's at 95 is
Ooh,
probably when you really
DBZ
started paying
DBZ
attention
was
to it.
in the 80s, though. I think.
Yeah. The thing
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
the thing is, I get all of these 90 shows because I was born in 1990.
Oh man, shout out to Garfield, man. Garfield was good too back
Yep.
then. DuckTales.
I don't-
Scrooge
Oh,
McDuck.
Ed, and Eddie. You had what else?
I don't think Luca started watching these shows until after Biggie died.
What year did Biggie die? I don't even know.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not old like you are, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Man, when did Biggie die? Hold up, man. Let me
Yeah.
look.
97, March 9. The
I mean,
greatest
you
rapper
can-
of all time died on March 9. Come on, that's a cannabis line. You
Excuse
don't
me.
even know who cannabis is. It's okay. Forget it.
Did you do what you
Cannabis-
say?
I know who
The
Cannabis
greatest
is
rapper of
because
all time.
Eminem referenced Cannabis. I know who Cannabis is because of that.
Oh,
Listen.
Eminem, the greatest rapper of all time. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about
Shut
that.
up.
Oh.
No,
Stop.
Shut up. Just stop talking, singer. You just stop talking.
No.
Eminem might have had
No,
one
no,
of some
no.
of the greatest,
He's
some
not
of
the greatest
most
rapper of all
greatest
time.
and shocking
No, he's
lyrics
not.
I've ever
No,
heard.
no,
but
no.
not the
No,
greatest.
he's not, but he's definitely top 5, dead or alive. Easy.
Maybe top 10.
I don't even know
I
about
would
that.
say top 10,
I would say top 10 too.
but definitely not top.
I got
Top
a so
5.
who hey so who he said greatest.
No, I
God.
said top 5 because you'd have like Biggie.
So
No,
who's
you
one,
said
two,
he's
and
the greatest,
three?
though.
You said the greatest, yeah.
Yeah, no, I meant top 5.
Okay.
No, you
That's
got
a little too. That's still too generous. But sure.
Shout out to Meat Puppet saying the 80s cartoons are the best. Thundercats. Whoa!
Whoa,
G.I.
Let's
Joe,
go.
He-Man, Mr. T, Looney Tunes.
man.
Do you guys
I mean-
remember when they brought back Thundercats in like 2014?
Wasn't it
Yeah,
like
it was. They
an
also tried to bring back.
abomination or
They also
something?
tried
I
to bring
heard they
back
were
Up-
bringing it back, but I didn't watch it.
They also tried to
Well,
bring
that's
back,
the reason
yeah.
it only got one season. It was amazing because they brought it back and they made it into like they basically designed it like an anime, so it was like an ongoing series, not like encapsulated episodes that changed the topic every week. So
Mhm.
they had this large thing, and they had the original voice of Lionel playing the young Lionel's father, and then they had it was a whole reimagining of the thing, but it was like everything you imagined it as a kid. But when you go back and watch Thundercats, it wasn't that, right? But this is like a whole
Nostalgia.
show that was like at the quality of the Thundercats intro. if that makes any sense.
Man, the Thundercats intro was fire.
I'll say this though, like the 80s had better movies than the 90s.
Absolutely.
When it comes to like the Transformers movie had kids crying.
Oh, you talking about
within 10 minutes.
the cartoon?
That's 'cause they
yeah,
killed everybody.
Yeah.
They killed everybody, bro.
Right. Yo, it was brutal.
Nobody even knew who Euronymous was before the movie.
Well, he didn't exist before.
That's what I'm
so
saying.
That's why
They literally made a character and say, "You're going to be the new Prime."
You know why that happened, right?
Yeah, because they wanted to sell toys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So they
Mattel,
said
you already
had
know
to
how
get
that
rid of-
is.
Yeah, it was crazy.
All these things. Listen, everything that you see in these movies now, when it comes to like some little cute little thing, is because they want to sell something. Why you think BB-8 was such a huge part of the marketing for Star Wars, the new episodes, the current episodes? Because BB-8, they wanted to sell those. I bought one too, by the way. So I was a sucker. So
Ramon says my friend knows the guy who made that call. That guy. I'd like to meet him face to face so I can have some words with him.
Yo, G.I. Joe the movie was like the most so influential. Like the fact I had to like it came on. I'm stuttering because I love that so much. G.I. used to come on at like 7:30 in the morning before school, but the movie for some reason they started at 8:00 because it was more mature. It wasn't like blood or stuff like that, but you had to be in school when that came out. So literally the week that came out, because they did a mini series for it, I literally was late to school every day that week just so I could stay at home and watch G.I. Joe the movie. It was so great.
You know, but now I think about it, just movies in general in the 80s were better than the 90s, I think. Just in, like the Terminator, Die Hard, like those movies were in the 80s.
Although the best Die Hard was Die Hard with a Vengeance with Samuel L. Jackson. I think that was in the 90s.
It was the funniest one, though. I
wouldn't say it was the best one.
That's my favorite Die Hard.
You think it's better than Nakatomi?
The fake Christmas movie? Yes, I do.
Really?
The first one's the best.
Because they were in New York and they were in streets that I would hear.
Nobody cares.
I don't care where you at.
Hey,
all you see what's his name?
Yorkers don't get it.
All I remember is what's their car getting shot up. It's like cussing up a storm as he's falling into a ditch.
I mean, I don't know. You know, I'm thinking about it now. My nephew's Generation Alpha, right? So, but my brother has him watching like SpongeBob, old school Pokemon, that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know, I think it's us to preserve. It's up to us to preserve greatness.
We'll see. 90s had stuff like Pulp Fiction, Toy Story.
What we really need to preserve, we're talking about these shows, we need to preserve kids actually wanting to play with controllers because they do not.
That's already gone, bro.
Oh yeah,
I think that should have sailed.
That's sailed already, bro. That's sailed.
Can I curse here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, no, they don't give a flying 747 fuck about consoles.
They certainly do not. Yeah,
like, and it's crazy because we fight about this stuff like on X or whatever we call it these days,
Twitter,
right? But they genuinely don't care. Like, I gave my 13-year-old Steam Deck when I got the OLED. She went straight to desktop mode and is just playing Roblox in the browser. Because like she's docking it and playing it on the monitor or whatever. She's like, I have a PC now, and just doesn't care at all. Genshin, I'm like, okay, hey, I see you playing Genshin on the phone. That must be annoying. Here, play it on the PS5. I downloaded it for you. No, the touch controls are better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just
because they're
like,
used to it. They're used to it.
And they don't know who these characters are. They don't know who Kratos is. And that's the market that is growing the most. So if anything,
I see. Go ahead, read your super chat because I love how
shout out
he phrased
to
it.
Me Puppet saying Die Hard 1 is the best Christmas movie ever. Because Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Yep. I do agree with that. I actually just watched it this year. That's a great movie. I've been going back and watching.
Is a Christmas movie. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Not a Christmas movie.
Die Hard
is a Christmas movie.
Matter of fact, let's ask the chat.
And also
They're all
Die
gonna
Hard.
say it because that's the cool thing to
Hold
say.
on.
But
Die
Christmas,
Hard.
Dude,
Hold on.
I agree with
Hold
Evermore.
on. Die Hard defined an entire, more than the entire generation. It completely changed the way action movies were done. Before Die Hard, all action movies had guys looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone on steroids. And they were really unrealistic. It didn't make any sense. They were just like freaking Stallone standing in the middle of a room.
Corner.
No,
I'm
I'm
gonna
not.
use this against you in a second, but go
Man.
ahead.
Hold- and just shooting everyone and not taking any damage whatsoever. It was super cliched. And then you get Die Hard that had Bruce Willis, who had never done an action movie before that. He was known for Moonlighters or whatever it
Romantic
was,
comedy
like
TV show. Yes,
right.
watch it.
And he didn't have the build of like a steroid case, greased up, like muscle bound dude, and he got his ass kicked the whole movie. And then you notice after that, then you started getting like Passenger 57, you started getting Air Force One, you started getting all these other movies that took the format of Die Hard and then just gave it a different setting with a different actor. But it's the same format from Die Hard 1. It completely redefined how they did that. Now go ahead and
no, I just have a question. Why do you say Die Hard is a Christmas movie? Why is it a Christmas movie?
That's for you, Sloan.
It's
Yeah, for
okay.
you, Slomo.
It happens during Christmas.
That's not
okay. It happens during Christmas, right?
Hold on. Okay, it's not just that it happens during Christmas. Multiple times it's referenced during the movie. Man, it's Christmas time and this is going on. This kind of like 3 times they reference that, and then at the end, it snows.
God damn
It's Christmas movie.
Hold up, man. All right, but we don't. Okay, so Die Hard, what you consider a Christmas movie for those reasons, but all of those same things are applicable with Die Hard too, because it literally takes place during Christmas.
All right, so it's a Christmas movie.
But they don't
see how
consider
that's-
but Die Hard 2 is not considered a Christmas movie, though.
No one cares about Die Hard 2 because it's not as good.
No, but
Ramon says, "Why is Home Alone a Christmas movie? Doesn't that happen during Christmas too, or no?"
Yep. Well, Home Alone's also
the whole focus of Home Alone is Christmas. Like that's the whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing is Christmas.
No, the whole focus of Home Alone is bad parenting and a psychotic little boy.
Too.
That's
He's not psychotic. He was protecting himself.
That boy could have called the police at any time.
He could have called the police.
That was a black family ACS woman call.
He wanted to torture them. Is what he wanted. Like that. He's crazy.
Somebody said snow in LA. It was snowing in LA. That was reported in snow.
Gremlins is a Christmas movie. Like what's the name? What's the name of the
I can't call a movie a Christmas movie.
Gizmo was given to the main character as a Christmas gift.
Jesus Christ.
These are all Christmas movies. The problem is that you guys have a mentality of Christmas movie has to be like really cheesy.
No, the Christmas movie is a Christmas. It's Christmas. It comes. So this is. I cannot.
You just repeated yourself, and that actually.
I said I cannot rock with a movie that came out in July. It is about Christmas, or it's during Christmas. It's not even about Christmas. It's during Christmas, and it's the only reason people say it's a Christmas movie because it's during Christmas is when it happens.
I mean, doesn't really matter.
Nothing to do. It's just because the movie is themed.
So your entire point is that Die Hard didn't release. Your entire point is that Die Hard didn't release
summer movie
during Christmas time, therefore it's not a Christmas movie.
No, Blockbuster is a movie about the. Jesus
Calm
Christ!
down,
I hate having this argument with people because it's irritating.
Yeah, calm down so you can,
Yes, I am. Yes, because I was about to say something stupid.
Okay, Slomo. I think that Scream 6 is a Halloween movie because it happens during Halloween.
All right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I got you right now. Is Batman Returns a Christmas movie?
Is that the one where
with Catwoman and Penguin? Tim Burton's second Batman movie.
Okay, hold on. I gotta look it up because I do not recall because I've never seen it. I've never seen this one. I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
'Cause that's my whole thing.
Okay.
It's the only.
I can keep going. Hold,
That's what I was trying to say
hold
because
on for a
it's the
second.
only thing that makes it a Christmas movie is the fact that it takes place during Christmas.
But wait a minute.
Three reasons
Slow-mo
why it was
reference
Christmas.
multiple reasons. What are you
But-
talking about?
Exactly.
But wait a minute. Wait
He's
a minute.
ignoring everything I'm saying.
All right, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Is that a Christmas movie? How about In
Is it-
Barouge or Lethal Weapon?
Okay, can you wait?
I rock
Can you
with
wait
you
a
on Lethal
moment?
Weapon.
You're just
Lethal
throwing
Weapon.
stuff at the wall at this point. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Who's in that again?
That's
Does it
Robert
matter
Downey
who's in
Jr.?
it?
I'm asking questions. Like, can you like? What does it matter who's in it? I'm like,
Michelle
yeah,
Pfeiffer.
No, that's
though.
Robert Downey
Let's
Jr.
go. Yeah, Robert Downey Jr.
Okay, so again,
Okay,
like I said, again,
why are you
before
why are you
answer-
referencing it? Is it just because it takes place during Christmas and that's it? Because I gave multiple reasons why
Okay.
Die Hard is a Christmas
Oh, so
movie outside
give
of
me
it
those
taking place
reasons, and I
during Christmas.
guarantee you the same things happen.
I literally told you those
no,
reasons.
but
You
say
said
it
you
again. I'm
weren't
just saying, say it
listening.
again. Say it again, because I'm
No,
gonna.
you know
point
what?
out-
He doesn't have to say it again because you should have been listening.
You should
No,
have been
I
listening.
was listening. I just want to catch him in his trap.
No, because you're not catching
You
me
said what
in
you said on
anything.
direct. This is the cross-examination, and all of those
Okay,
things that
so-
you gave as a reason. I'm sorry, Luca. I didn't go ahead.
Are not present in the movies you're
Yeah,
mentioning.
they actually are though. It does snow.
What's a Bobby?
So they make multiple references of
Yes,
how
yes.
this is Christmas time and about
Yes.
what Christmas is supposed
Yes.
to be about,
Also,
and it
Okay,
snowed
but
at
to
the
be
end.
fair-
Iron Man 3.
And it snowed at the end.
wait. To be fair,
Yes.
Slomo doesn't know what Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is, so it's difficult for you. Like you're naming stuff he hasn't seen before. So how can
Okay,
he
he's
give
seen
it?
Iron Man 3. He doesn't consider that a Christmas movie, nor does he consider
Does it
Batman
snow at
Returns
the end
as
of
a
Iron Man
Christmas-
3?
Yes, it does. It snows
I'm
all
about to
throughout
look.
that movie.
At the
Keep
Do they
going.
reference Christmas during Iron Man
Yes,
3?
they
at
do.
the end, does it snow?
That's your. It has to snow.
Do
literally in the
not
last
tell
scene.
me. Do not give me the where it snows all throughout the movie. So
But it does snow throughout the movie, and they reference Christmas several times. This is your bar, and now you're saying
don't
it
remember
specifically
them
has to
referencing
snow.
Christmas.
How far before the end credits does it have to snow, Slow-mo? Just so
it
we
needs
know,
to be
so that we can
snowing
classify
during
it.
the end credits.
During the end
So you
credits,
t-
it has to snow.
Okay, I'm trying to remember Iron Man 3. Is this the
Oh,
one with the
man.
little kid?
Yes.
The little boy.
Yeah.
Do they even talk about it being Christmas at all?
Yes, they do. Absolutely.
When?
Gifts
What
are
part?
given as well.
All right,
In the
it's
movie, I
a
don't
Christmas
know.
movie. All right, it's a Christmas
Okay,
movie.
so now we're classifying Iron Man 3 as
It's a Christmas movie.
All right.
It's a
so
Christmas
that's-
movie.
Okay.
There you go.
Listen, you win. Let me just go back to your other point, and then we can move this on because this makes we're not going to
Let's
get
see
anywhere.
here.
It's
with
a
this.
So,
Christmas movie.
director
You just
Director
Black.
Shane Black loves setting his movies around holidays, especially Christmas. Iron Man 3 certainly does that too, but it definitely does not qualify as a Christmas movie. The holiday is merely decoration to anchor it to a specific time of year. It doesn't embrace Christmas in its story, and it does so only tangentially in its themes.
Just
That's-
like Die Hard, the first one.
So
That's
he-
not not
Hey,
like
man.
that. All right.
I go off of
By
one
the
of
way,
the greatest.
Shane Black is the same director as Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and that's why that's the reference between the two because they both
Okay.
starred Robert Downey Jr. And they both
Why
took Toy
was McClane in LA in Die Hard?
Speaking of McClane, the only reason, my main reason of saying that's not a Christmas
Hey,
movie
hold on.
is because
You
the
wanna-
main
you wanna-
actor
why
of
are
the
you-
movie
First of all,
said it's not a
Forte,
Christmas
I asked
movie.
the question. I asked the question, and you're just ignoring that.
He was there to visit his wife during the Christmas holiday while she's at work.
Thank you.
still.
And his kids that were there, right?
Yeah, and his kids that were there
Okay, for
Set
Christmas.
dressing.
during Christmas.
It's not set dressing.
We're
It's
not.
a- it's a
No,
plot
we're
point.
not.
The
No,
reason
we're
for him
not.
to be in
It's
LA.
the
We're not
reason. It's the
disputing-
reason why any of it happened.
No, we're
It's
not
the reason why any
disputing
of it
that
happened.
it doesn't
Yeah,
take
it
place during
wouldn't-
Christmas.
It
don't
would
dispute
not
that.
have happened if he didn't go to see her because of the Christmas party. He wouldn't have been there if not for that
He
Christmas
would not
party.
have been there.
If it was a Christmas movie, he would not have went to work, and he would have went home to his goddamn wife,
Core
and they would
point.
have had a nice Christmas.
His
Core
wife
point.
would
Yes,
have went
yes.
to work if it was Christmas.
No,
Yeah,
actually, they
anyway.
were
Wife said a
separated. They
Christmas office,
lived in completely different
lived
They
in
lived
cities.
in different
States.
places.
Yeah.
Yeah, he only
Yes,
was
and
there
should have
because it
been
was
a family
Christmas.
movie, and they should have had a dinner table scene with a
That
family
does
members
not
come up
dissuade
and
our
bring up the
point.
whole- Okay,
That does not
anyway,
point
it's not a
us.
Christmas
That what you just said has
Well,
no
at the
bearing on
end of
what
the
we're
day,
talking about.
your opinion is your opinion, and our opinion is
and
ours.
Slow-Mo's opinion is wrong.
And your
My
opinion
opinion is
your
right.
I
opinion.
will not. I will not say Luca's opinion.
According
is wrong.
to 87, because according to 87%
I will
of
say
the
Slow-Mo's
people,
opinion is
I
wrong.
am right and you are wrong. And that 13% is you and all your sock accounts.
But by the way, I only have one sock account. By the way, you said something about Die Hard changing the landscape of action movies, right?
Yes.
And what that did was it was like a body positivity movement for dads
Regular
that took their
Joes.
kids to movie. Yes, right.
Yeah.
So if we think that that's okay, why don't we think it's okay that Mary Jane looks the way she looks?
Bruh.
I'm just saying. Think
What's
about
wrong
it.
with what's wrong with how Mary Jane looks?
She looks very everyday-ish.
Okay.
She looks like an everyday. She does not look like a supermodel.
No,
Like
she
in
doesn't, but
the
she's
comic.
not a supermodel in these games, so that makes sense.
Sure, but there are people that
People on this panel?
that have issues with that.
Oh, people on the panel?
Are there people on the panel that have issues with that? Slow-mo?
You got an issue with how she looks? Though?
Hey, look, we talked about it when it came out. I was like, yo, she don't look like no Mary Jane. That like, hey, look, it's their universe. They can make her look however they want. But like the rest of us gonna be like, yo, that's not how Mary Jane's supposed to look. But whatever, right?
But why are
to
we
your
upset
point,
with that if we think that John
because
McClane is
here's
a
the
good
difference.
idea?
Because John
Those are
McClane didn't
completely
exist before
separate
Die
points.
Hard.
Like, why would you
Yeah,
even
because
try to make a comparison between the two?
because Mary Jane is a character that existed in other medium before the iteration of her in these Insomniac Spider-Man games, whereas
Yeah.
John McClane did not
put
exist at
hold up
all
for this?
before Die
I
Hard.
can thread this needle really quickly.
No, you
I
can't.
mean,
The
your
needle
point
has
should
been
have.
cut.
Yeah, you should have made the point in your initial statement instead of
There has
like
been
this
cut.
is
No,
a
I did.
nonsensical
It's just
argument.
that nobody caught on to what I was trying to say. That's fine.
Because you
What
didn't
I'm-
make it clear to whatever point you're trying to make. Your point
Okay.
is
here's the
not
point.
very fleshed
Here-
out.
Here's the thing. If action movies used to be these Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jean-Claude Van Damme, whoever else, Sylvester Stallone, whatever, and you had to be like that to be an action star, and we understood that because these people are supposed to be killers. They're supposed to be snapping people's necks with 2 fingers like they used to do in the 80s. And we think it's fine to say that action heroes should look like the rest of us.
But
Why
it's
don't
more
we
than just
think
the
it's
look, though.
fine if
No.
Mary
It's
Jane looks
more
like the
than
rest of us?
it's more than
So
just the look,
before
though,
you get to
because
that, Slomo, did you say like action heroes should look like an everyday Joe? Or did you make a point where
No.
it was like, oh no,
No, I was just saying that
changing.
it changed. It defined a new
It
new way to
defined a
do
so
action
you
movies, and
made
it
the point
changed
Should
it.
it have?
wait, hold on. You never made the point that, oh, I like how action heroes look when they look like just like us.
Yeah.
I like that they changed it. No, you made a point about how it changed, not how you felt about the change. So Everborn,
Yeah.
your statement doesn't stand. He never made that point.
And
So
also
trying to-
John
Right.
McCain isn't like in out of shape,
McClane.
like whatever.
John McClane.
John McClane, he's not out of shape. He just he's a fit, middle-aged guy that just so happened to be a cop, be proficient in firearms,
so
and
sexy back in the day. I'm sorry, go ahead.
okay,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
And he's not as muscle bound with the look of the physique that with the muscles that don't actually do anything, by the way. But like he got the job done. If he looked like the guy from Family Matters, that was the cop that
Carl C. Winslow. Well, that's not his real
Carl
name.
Winslow?
That's Carl Winslow.
yeah.
That's who he played, but that's not
Exactly. Like so, like if it was Carl Winslow,
something. I think it's Reginald.
right?
Vell Jones.
Reginald. If Reginald was there as John McClane doing all that, like that's unrealistic. That is the stuff that people look at when they look at video games. They're just like, come on. Like some of the shoehorning you're seeing for particular things in gaming, you're just like, that person can't realistically do the stuff that they're doing. If Reginald was in there, he's dead. Look at him. He's not surviving any of that stuff. But Bruce, and then even then, I think the
Wait,
one
wasn't he
part behind
that actor also in Die Hard too? Which makes the point even funnier, right?
Yeah, that's why I brought him up, because
Yeah.
he's in the movie, but he's sitting out just talking to John, on the radio in the car. He did a great
Enjoying his
job.
Twinkies. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But that's his role. His
He's
role is
also
to kill
in
everybody.
Invincible. He plays the police chief, I think, in the Invincible cartoon.
Yeah,
Does the
is
voice
he?
in it. Yes.
No, he. Yeah,
I don't know if
you're
he's the police chief, but he's in this. He's definitely, maybe he's the principal of the school, but he's in the show, and the
Yeah,
character
the
actually
principal of school.
looks like
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, that's true. And then I think, the school is named after his character. I think it's named after Carl Winslow. Anyway, that's not the point. I think what's more important about and what makes it better when it comes to how action movies were made post Die Hard is that the hero actually is someone that isn't invincible, can take damage. Like John McClane gets effed up all throughout the entire movie, but he still survives. And that was more engaging to an audience than watching Rambo gun down an entire jungle full of like, a small militia and barely get scratched. Like or like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando, where you're just like, of course he's going to kill everybody. Like it's a completely different like shift in how the storytelling and the movies were done. That's why it was better. It wasn't simply
I
because.
agree.
Forgive me if I'm wrong. Then Slow-Mo is saying that the John McClane change was for the better. So my point,
but I'm not
still
saying
stands,
it
Your
was
Honor.
because it wasn't because your reasoning for me saying it's better is different than my reasoning. My reasoning is because the storytelling
still
was better,
said it, though.
and it was more realistic, and them taking damage and being hurt and potentially dying. That is better. Not that
Like the rest
John
of
McClane looks like you and me. That doesn't have anything to do with it.
That man was still invincible.
Exactly. How many diehards we have right now?
I will tell you this. I didn't even
We're talking
realize
about
it.
the first Die Hard.
Yeah, I will say, because the only time he was really in peril in that movie, like when you really saw him hurt, was when they put the glass on the ground, and that's when he got real hurt. When they broke the glass and he stepped on all the glass from the window.
He jumped off a roof.
I need you to start being fucking serious for one goddamn second.
He
man.
jumped off a roof.
I need you to start being
wow.
serious for
He
one
jumped
fucking
off
second,
a
dude.
roof with a fire hose tied around his waist.
Okay, so
Does anyone want to try that? See if the everyman can do it?
absolutely not. We can just move on from that. But you know what's crazy? Like, there are feats of people doing like extraordinary things. You know what I'm saying?
There are.
So it's not completely implausible. Okay, let's go ahead.
Thank you, Ronald in the chat. Rambo dual shooting 2 fully automatic AKs is unrealistic.
Listen, I don't disagree with
and
Slow-Mo's point.
accurately hitting everyone. We like, come on now. Like,
No,
these guys freaking
Slow-Mo,
aimbot in real life.
Well, Slow-Mo, I agree with your point on how influential it was, because I felt like that man was super unkillable, and like it did like put a dynamic of like kind of like you was like, man, is this it? But like he didn't officially die. Like I didn't realize in movies he didn't die for the first time in any movie until Armageddon. And I was like, wow, he actually lived through all of these movies, and the first movie he died in was Armageddon.
I still think he made it.
You still think he made it in Armageddon?
Yeah.
All right.
I still think he made it.
You're crazy.
The other ship worked.
Literally, the planet-sized asteroid explodes.
He made it, and Thelma and
Louise
Louise made that jump. That is what I'm telling myself.
Oh my god!
Okay, so we can just move on from this.
You're crazy.
Yes, Denzel Washington in The Equalizer, which I love those films so much. But he was like not the average Joe. He was highly trained and had a background in what he was doing. All right, so Jonathan Majors, we've been covering this since it happened, right? So on December 18th, 2023, a 6-member jury found Majors guilty of 2 counts: reckless assault in the 3rd degree, which is a misdemeanor, and harassment in the 2nd degree, which is a violation, which is less than a misdemeanor. He was found guilty. He was found not guilty of 2 counts: intentional assault in the 3rd degree and aggravated harassment in the 2nd degree. The first 3 counts related to Major's actions inside the car, while the 4th pertains to what their altercation spilled onto the street. He is tentatively scheduled to be sentenced on February 6, 2024. Majors faces up to 364 days in jail. Faces up to, which means he could get a year, but he also could get less than a year. This is a slap on the wrist.
Get less.
You ain't getting that.
This is a slap on the wrist sentence. It's like inconsequential in terms of like spending any time in jail is fucking awful, right? But like it's inconsequential.
I don't think he's
the
gonna
main
spend time
thing
in jail.
the main can I finish?
I'm sorry.
Okay. The main thing that this this has caused damage to is his reputation. His reputation, in my opinion, has been damaged beyond repair. Mostly because this current generation and current era that we live in makes it more difficult for people to bounce back from certain allegations. You know what I'm saying? And this was a highly focused on case. And at this point, people are more inclined to jump to conclusions and also blatantly lie and then just get away with lying about it on social media. There's been a shit ton of misinformation about this case. I don't know if that's intentional or not. I'm going to say it's intentional because the way that the media displayed it makes you think that they said, like, he's convicted of assault. They didn't clarify what they meant in the headline, so people who don't bother to look into things, which is like a lot of people, think that he's like some woman abusing monster, right? I will say, like, based on this particular case here, he has not been convicted of anything of the sort. Reckless assault is essentially he accidentally hurt her, right? Like he was the cause of her injury, but he didn't actually intend to hurt her. They found him not guilty of those accounts. So the courts are saying that he did not intend to hurt her. That's basically what's happening. But people on social media, again, are running with this idea that he's a woman beating monster based on this charge here. And I also saw somebody blatantly lie and say that he was a rapist. And I was pissed when I saw that because I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why would you lie about something so serious? And then when people called them out for it, they're like, well, I mean, up in the reply. No one takes any accountability for any of this stuff. They just go around fucking lying about this shit, right? So Marvel fired him. They've been fired him. They were just waiting on that hit send button, essentially. And they got his ass the fuck up out of there. He was I think it was the testosterone, because he had to have been taking testosterone to get as big as he did from fucking Lovecraft Country to where he was in Creed, right? Like, I think he was taking testosterone as people know, testosterone can cause violent outbursts, right? So that's what I think. And again, there's just been a lot of misinformation going on with this case, but it's up to 364 days. I also believe that he could also just get off on probation as well. So, I mean, we'll have to wait and see what happens during sentencing. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this was like a really fast case. I feel like cases normally take a lot longer to get to this point, but maybe it's because
especially in New York, they do.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Like, so maybe it's because it was like a celebrity case, and people were just, I don't know. I feel like he was a rising star and his star has plummeted into the abyss, essentially. And honestly speaking, the fact that his PR firm dropped him expeditiously at the very beginning of this was just kind of had me scratching my head from the start, where it's like, damn, what the fuck did he do, So that's the case. Everyone to come on so he could discuss his perspective on it. So,
can I?
Yes.
Okay. So a couple of things. I think, like, you talked about Creed, but one other thing that may have affected, whatever was going on with him, is that Magazine Dreams movie that everyone's talking about, where he plays a bodybuilder who had issues with rage and issues with his wife because of said rage, all tied to bodybuilding. And
is he a method actor?
It seems that way, right?
Okay.
So and there's so much with this, right? And I think you, Luca, you encapsulated what's going on here very well. So and if we're gonna compartmentalize this, we've been exposed to this case from the news reports in the beginning, which had us all scratching our heads. Then there's text messages, then there's audio recordings about Coretta Scott King and whatnot, and then there's video of him running away, what looks like for his life, and then there is the verdict. So, you know, I share the same frustration, and I have mixed feelings about this, right? Because even though I do feel like he was railroaded, and we can talk about that with the case, I also feel like he put himself in this situation, right? And I said this privately, but I will say it publicly just to be on the same page. It is hard for me as a Black man with to see this happen, right? But it is also and again, whoever you love is who you love, right? And I said this to you in the DMs, Luca, but like too often we see these entertainers, as soon as they get some money, they're out there with a white woman, and all of that great man stuff he was talking about is gone because of this. And I don't think the case would have went the same way if they were both white or if they were both Black. I don't think this case would have went that way, and we can discuss that if anyone feels like. But that's how I see it. It's hard for me to take the racial element away from it. And in terms of the case, I did some research in preparation for tonight. So there's some things that I learned, which is that she was also arrested after the fact because the police thought that there was enough evidence to charge her, but the prosecution opted not to charge her. Right?
Charge her for what?
Charge her for assault because he had ripped jacket and he had cuts and bruises on him when the police got there.
Now, why do you think they didn't charge her? Because wouldn't that have made his case, like, wouldn't that have made him more sympathetic for his case?
Right, but this is the state. This is Alec. I think it's Alvin Bragg is the DA in this area of Manhattan. And they had every opportunity. The police arrested her. They didn't, right? So
couldn't he have pressed charges?
Well, no. It was at his request. It was Major's request through his lawyer to say he was attacked. Also, they looked at the bruises on him. If you tell the police someone attacked you and you have bruises, they got to go arrest the person. But this was actually brought up in the questioning as to whether she was promised anything, and that she didn't have to answer that question because as I heard it, this is based on Roland Martin's show where they had someone in the courtroom like giving the day-to-day afterwards, saying that all of the prosecution's objections were sustained, meaning they got their objection. So whenever Major's which I think Major's lawyer didn't do him any favors, because it was actually her fault why those text messages that we will probably talk about were brought in, because they're originally not out. But anyway, when asked about that, there was an objection, and there was an objection by the prosecution, and that was upheld. So Major's lawyer couldn't go further down that line of questioning.
His lawyer sucks. Okay.
Yes.
The only reason certain pieces of evidence even got put into were considered admissible is because she opened the door to it. Like, she sucks, you know? Like,
Yeah,
she was his op. She was his op, honestly speaking.
But by the way, this is something his lawyer did not go after. in the state of New York, there is a concept of self-defense. It is not stand your ground like Florida, but if someone assaults you and steals something from you, because that is what happened, and this is what she testified to, she took his phone because she saw text messages from another woman. And then he tried to get it back. That is 100% legal for you. Now, again, level of force is a thing, right?
Which is
She
what he
said
got charged with. Yeah.
Well, not exactly, because that he got the phone back in the car,
Yes,
right?
and
So,
the charge pertains to what happened in
oh,
the car.
charged. Sorry, convicted. I thought you were saying
Yeah.
convicted. That's my fault. But so, and I that's probably part of the reason why he was not convicted on that point. Also, the Uber driver who does not work for Majors or Jabari said that it sounded like she was hitting him, but he couldn't say that he saw that with his eyes because he was focusing on the road. So whatever, we can take whatever we want from that. But the point is, she stole his property. He got it back. It is your duty under the law in New York to try to de-escalate and egress in any way that you can. What did he do? What do we have on camera? Him putting her back in the car, running away from her, snatching himself away from her, running 3 blocks,
Yeah,
her
no,
running
that's pretty
into
No,
traffic.
it was longer than 3 blocks, man. That was
Okay.
an entire borough. Yo,
Now-
he
now-
ran he ran to the Bronx or something. I don't know.
Listen, I thought maybe he's practicing for a football movie or something. They said she was chasing the bag.
Yo, no. The funniest part of that is that, like, and there's 2 sequences of him sprinting down the street, and then you see her just walking after him, and I laughed, which is wrong to kind of laugh in this, but I laughed because it reminded me of a horror movie, like Friday the 13th, like Jason.
Forget about that. You know what I thought about? You remember in Terminator 2, the T-1000? Okay, anyway, but
I'm just walking. I don't need to run after you. I'm gonna get you eventually.
But okay, and again, I just want let's change roles here. Imagine if she had snatched her arm away from him, and if he was chasing her for 6 or 8 blocks across the Brooklyn Bridge like she did to him.
I mean,
how would we be talking about this?
I mean, I think it's pretty fair to say that everyone thinks that her chasing him was wrong. So pretty much everyone who saw him running away, they immediately were like, well, how is he the aggressor? He's running from her. So it's not like anyone took her as chasing him as like her not being the aggressor in that point.
There is such a thing as prosecutorial discretion. And they used it for her, and they call her a fucking survivor. And he, the one who was running away from her, he's the one who called the police because he thought that she called him 36 times, call and or text, 36 times, locked herself in the bathroom, and he called the police because he thought she had taken pills to do you know what. And because her finger is hurt and she put on the white woman crocodile tears, he's the one who leaves there in cuffs.
Yeah, I mean, sucks to suck, I guess. I don't really know what else to say about it. Like, I don't really have a lot of sympathy for him just based on certain things that
I have no sympathy for him.
I think you do because you're like defending him. So you don't have any sympathy for him as a person? I have
sympathy for the situation. I don't have sympathy for him because he put himself in the situation.
I think they are 2 very toxic individuals that should have never been in a relationship with one another, and their toxicity made each other even worse. And to the point where we see the things that we see, like what he got charged with has nothing to do with him running away or like that,
ridiculous, dude.
or her chasing him or anything that happened at his apartment after the fact, or the fact that she was clubbing really hard and using the hand that she was supposedly so injured
and
with.
The fact that she told police 16 times she doesn't know how her finger got hurt.
right?
Mhm.
But then there's also he's exuding real gaslighting, manipulative kind of behavior in those text
Mhm.
messages and the
Yeah,
things that he's
let's
saying.
take a look
Oh,
at these text
I'm going to
messages,
kill
actually.
myself. Oh, I'm
Actually,
good like
I
that.
will I'll
That
read
stuff
the text
is
messages. So, Jonathan, this is Jabari to Jonathan. I will not go to the doctor if you don't feel safe with me doing so. Now, okay, you guys hear that? Why wouldn't someone feel safe with someone going to the doctor? Like, what's up with that?
Because she's a white woman and he would get blamed for whatever it was. And we just see that happened right here in March.
So, I mean, I really do have to ask, is for every case of interracial
Nope, I'm
dating and
talking about
relating?
this case. I'm
Okay,
not
because
talking about every case.
because just boiling it all down to her being a white woman when he has displayed this manipulative and gaslighting behavior doesn't work for me.
Okay, but here's the thing. You know what you don't you know what's blacked out here? What she said.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know.
Everything we're looking at here is her characterization of who he was. And again, that is cornball behavior. It is manipulative behavior. It is not cool that he's talking about he's going to kill himself. But judging by the fact that she went back to his apartment after this incident and took pills and told him, I'm going to kill myself, seems like something they both did to each other. But we
That's what
don't get
Slomo
that
said.
here.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Slomo said, that it's a
yeah, that's what I said.
mutually toxic
They're
relationship.
mutually toxic people who should not be together. They actually shouldn't be with anybody. Megan Good, beautiful Megan Good
No,
needs to
Megan
go
Good
somewhere
likes
else.
her abusers, you know.
Yeah, she's definitely a
See, that
addicted
was
to
another
abusers.
thing, man.
So, like, him getting to
Go
that
ahead. Sorry.
getting with that black woman after being
Yes.
charged from this. Yes, we
Yes.
know.
Oh
We
my-
know
slap
the
in the face.
script. We know the
Slap in the
script.
goddamn face. I'm like, no,
It was a
ninja.
PR move. It was a PR move.
How much is she being paid?
I
Exactly.
don't fucking know. But
Quick,
anyway,
I need a
Jonathan's
beautiful
like,
black woman to look good on my arm. Who's
Exactly.
available? Hey, Megan Good just got out of a toxic marriage. How about her? Perfect.
perfect.
But see,
Bring her beautiful behind over
But
here.
okay, so
Luca,
let me
just one
finish.
second.
Wait,
If
let
I
me
can say
finish these.
one
No,
thing.
let me finish these
Okay,
texts.
go ahead.
He's like, you can't reject love if there's no real love. It's just lip service. I gave you love last night and this morning before I got out of bed. When you got up, you were not full of love at all, and I didn't feel it at all. You could have just given me a hug or walked close to me or asked me if you could give me a hug, not the other way around. It works both ways. I will probably unalive myself. It's not really contemplating anymore. I'm a monster, a horrible man, not capable of love. I'm going
Don't
to
say
unalive
that.
myself soon.
Okay, yeah.
I've
Sorry.
already put things in motion. Jonathan, you can't say this. I'm going to have to call someone. I'm sorry for not hugging you this morning. What? I really am. I was sleepy and disoriented by the fact that you thought I would break your necklace. I love you so much, obviously. What do you mean you've put this in motion? It's just fake. And if you have if you have fear I fear you have no perspective of what could happen if you go to the hospital. They will ask you questions, and as I don't think you actually protect us, it could lead to an investigation, even if you do lie and they suspect something. Now, this is blocked out, so who knows what the fuck she said there. And then she said, I will tell the doctor I bumped my head if I go. I'm going to give it one more day, but I can't sleep and I need some stronger painkillers. That's all. Why would I want to tell them what really happened when it's clear I want to be with you? I feel like you want to be together, as in to not embarrass yourself for everything you've said to your friends and family. Last night, I considered unaliving myself. You said you needed love last night, and I put my feelings aside and tried to give you that. I need love too. Or maybe I'm such a horrible monster, a horrible man that I don't deserve it and should just unalive myself. This way of existence is okay. First, I would have told him to jump myself, but that's just
Right.
me. You know, I don't like people who
Well, do
threaten.
it then.
Just like, do
it. Stop.
Fucking do it. I don't like when people
Right.
threaten to hurt themselves. I'm like, fucking do it then. Like, why are you're not gonna threaten to hurt yourself to try and make me feel bad. Do it. Fucking do it. I think
Do
both
it.
of them are terrible people. I'm with Slomo. It's a fucking toxic relationship. Neither of them should have been together, and I don't feel bad for him. Again, it's a slap on the wrist sentence. He did it to him fucking self. Sucks to suck. And now he ruined his fucking career. He's an idiot. He should have never been with this woman in the first place. This is his fault.
100% it's his fault. And again, the as we alluded to before, the Megan Good thing just pissed me off even more, because again, when you were high and on the rise, you wanted to be with the Wish version of Uma Thurman, as someone named her.
I don't know who said that.
Somebody said that.
It was me. It was me.
Right. Okay. Cool. I didn't want to say it was you. but and now
she does look like Dollar General Uma Thurman. But go ahead.
It's wild. And that's what he threw it all away for. But you know, when you're down, now you need the support of the Black community, so you're gonna go and put the Black woman on your arm, and like that. This is all his fault, and you won't hear me say otherwise. It's the other stuff around it that I'm really arguing towards. So this is, and again, this does not excuse like that manipulative behavior, and it does not excuse all the other things, but I think people should know this because a lot of people have been saying otherwise, right? And Luca, we talked about this earlier, and we can do the follow-up stuff too, because I don't want to make it seem like anything is okay. But during her direct from the prosecution, where she is coloring this whole situation, and she said that he put his hands on her in the car, right? They also asked her if he had ever put his hands on her before this date, and she said no. And she had every opportunity, because that would have helped her case, to say he did if that was true. But she did not say that. Now, that does not excuse anything in that text, and it does not excuse the fact that she did say he would like break furniture in the house, like punch holes in walls or like throw a vase across the room. And those things can still be classified as abuse. So I want to make that very clear. But if you're reading those texts and you think that he punched her or something like that, that's not the case. Again, not excusing anything else. I'm just giving it context, because those text messages, again, are snippets. Part of them are blocked out, and we have no context of the other terrible things that he said and she said. So I just wanted to say that so it was all clear. And
yeah, so
ahead.
like,
Sorry.
yeah, and like we discussed before, it's like, you know, regardless of whether or not he actually put his hands on her or not, whatever the context of those spooky ass text messages doesn't change the weird shit he was saying. And it also doesn't change, like you stated, breaking your partner's things, breaking your things, breaking things around your partner, putting your hand through the wall, expressing those expressions of rage still fall under the classification of abusive, as does the gaslighting, as does the manipulation. Threatening to unalive yourself is abusive. It's just part of the classification. It's part of the definition. Her threatening to unalive herself and trying to, fucking abusive. Her calling him 3,000 times, threatening to injure herself, knocking herself out, essentially. It's a toxic, abusive relationship. They never should have stayed together. His rhetoric about how, you know, she needs to be someone who doesn't make him look bad. I'm like, well, why didn't you just dump her if you noticed that her behavior wasn't a good reflection on yours? Like, before this case, I'm gonna keep it real with you, I didn't even know Jonathan Majors had a girlfriend before this case. So, like, and then also I wanted to note that, you know, he starts dating Megan Good. He starts wearing his fucking outfits really fucking kill me. But like, he started wearing like these
started dressing like he was in 1968.
Look at, like, you know, with his fucking newsboy hat, and like his he was wearing unflattering clothes so it wouldn't show off like his physique, so he didn't look as intimidating,
like a big scary black guy.
Big scary black guys.
I beat up this white woman.
Wait, Luke, did you see when he like, it looked like it was staged, but when he broke up that fight?
Yes, which was fucking when he had his hands out. Oh
staged.
my god, fucking ridiculous! Like,
almost as staged as him being with Megan Good now. But anyway,
yeah.
But by the way, one of those kids was recording the fight on an iPad. No, a laptop. A laptop.
Yeah,
they had studio lighting.
Yeah, just
And a
proving
boom mic.
that the entire thing was directed by someone who was clearly double the age of all the kids that were there and had no idea, and just basically watched a few fight videos on Twitter and was like, yeah, I got the gist of what we're trying to do here. I got it. And it was just like, no.
Well,
Like,
I mean,
what kid's walking around with a laptop to record
Yeah, that's so
a
unrealistic.
fight?
This is what happens when your PR firm fires you.
Yeah, that's true. That's what happens. That's true. When your PR firm fucking drops you, it's done, dude. You're cooked. Like, honestly speaking, his team sucked. He had
Across the
somebody in
board,
someone
they all failed him.
Gambit in the chat was
Yeah.
like, he should have gotten Johnny Depp's lawyers or something. He probably couldn't afford Johnny Depp lawyer just based on probably their income. I don't know, but like, yeah, he should have gotten a better lawyer. Honestly speaking, would you guys agree with me about this? Jonathan Majors should have dropped that woman as his lawyer the first time the first text messages came out, where it was like
those texts didn't help him.
the first text messages, the very first text
Yeah.
message that we saw between him, where it was like, some people were like, this reads as like abuser rhetoric. And some people were like, oh, I don't know about that. Like the first time those text messages came out and she was like, this is going to change public perception. As soon as she dropped those and then she saw that it did not change public perception, Jonathan he should have fucking fired her, and he should have went with somebody else because she was not on his fucking side. Okay, now don't get me wrong. Again, it was a split verdict. It's a fucking slap on the wrist. Okay, it's a slap on the wrist fucking charge. All right, he'll be fine. It's a misdemeanor and a fucking violation, which is less than a misdemeanor. But like the damage to his public persona is fucking astronomical, dude. He's cooked. He's cooked.
So,
and I don't know if he'll be
Supposedly.
able to come back from this.
so
No.
I mean, there's always to be, but the
Hey, yo, come on.
no, okay. I
We
didn't
got
do
some
that.
peanuts
Yes, I
over
did.
here for you.
No, but this was always about his reputation, right? He's lost tens of millions of dollars. These cases, these misdemeanor, especially what he was charged with, these almost never make it to a jury trial, right? In the city of New York, you never see this. That is reserved for things like felonies and whatnot. Usually, they are either dropped or people plead to lesser charges. I don't know if that was on the table for him, but it was clear. It's clear to me that this was more about, if he took that charge, he knew he was cooked. So he said he had to beat the whole thing to clear his name. And that's what this was all about. But there are certain things, again, his garbage lawyer could have tried, but didn't. She could have said this was self-defense, even if, because a normal lawyer would argue, I'm not saying my client did anything wrong, but even if we were to take your argument at face value, it was self-defense. That was never argued because he wanted it to look like to these Hollywood studios that he did nothing wrong. So his name needed to be fully clear or no one could work with him. And in terms of Disney firing him, I will say, I did the tweet about Robert Downey Jr., but that was more for people that would empathize. And I'll explain that in a second. But Disney, it doesn't matter if he did it or not, or if Kevin Feige believes he did it or not. This colors anything that they do, and they're already struggling now. So that what they don't want is to have him at a premiere and people who didn't read the charges, people who are only going by the things that they've heard, saying shit like he's a woman beater and a rapist. And then you would have to contend with that, and the audience would be, you'll have his supporters, and then you'll have the people saying, how dare you hire him? Because, people argue about everything, and they just don't want that drama next to their stuff. And so who is going to want that drama next to his stuff? I don't know.
Hey. You cooked with that comment, man. You cooked.
I think he was cooked before any of this happened. Back in April, it was already being rumored that Marvel had already separated them back then, but they just didn't want. I think they were going to do it quietly because of the whole situation with just how the character of Kang didn't really pick up and resonate with a lot of people.
Never felt menacing at all.
It never felt menacing at all. So I think they already made the decision to either move away from him then, or recast either recast or just write the character out of it completely. And they just sat back when this all started happening and said, okay, let's see how this fares, because we might not have to do anything. We might just be able to walk away scot-free. Because as soon as I heard those rumors, I was like, this is interesting. And then all of a sudden, all this stuff hit the fan.
Did you guys watch the Loki season 2?
Yeah.
So the way they rewrote the finale, which was excellent, probably one of the best things they've done since post Endgame, was Loki. The whole entire series.
But yes,
would be true. But that finale was excellent. But the way they ended it, it made it very open-ended on whether Kang, we would ever see that character, or he who remains ever again in any kind of capacity as a villain. And they did that. Initially, it was supposed to be the end result was that Loki would get his, basically the ending of Loki's story arc, but that a worse version of Kang the Conqueror would emerge out of that, and that would be the one that would be from what was the Avengers? What was they renamed it? It was supposed to be like Avengers Kang Empire or something like that. I can't remember, but
I think that's what it was. Oh, Kang Dynasty.
King Dynasty, yeah, that was supposed to be the version that would be the big bad, the official big bad of the MCU, but they changed it. And they changed it because, as what Forte said, they saw what was going on. They was like, "Oh,
yeah, this
well,
yeah. we already wanted to get away from it, but here we go."
He had lost all his endorsements. He had got dropped from multiple movies, and the only thing he still had going for him was Disney. And the only reason why he still had Disney is because they had already filmed so much stuff with him that they needed to get done. And in the role that he was supposed to play in the MCU, and they had to wait it out. But for the most part, they knew what they were going to do well ahead of time. As Lucas said earlier, that tweet, the messages they put out in the press, that stuff was done months ago.
He didn't even walk out the courthouse. He was still in the courthouse when Disney was like, "Yeah, we're done with Jonathan Majors." I was like, dude, they didn't even walk out the courthouse yet. It was like, wow.
So one thing to consider, right? A lot of people, I know there was the Johnny Depp comment earlier.
Yeah,
we haven't seen Johnny Depp, even though he cleared his name, so to speak. We still haven't seen him do any Hollywood movies since.
Johnny's looking a little rough. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Have you seen him?
Yeah,
like he's looking a little rough. Maybe he needs a break, man. I don't know. he's looking a little rough.
But the other thing is, this is an interesting tidbit. Magazine Dreams was supposed to be his Oscar bait movie, right? It was supposed to come out during Oscar season, and the people who picked it up was none other than Fox Searchlight, who is owned by Disney. And so the fate, whether that movie will ever even come out now, is up in the air.
It ain't going out.
And that's the thing. What is he going to do? The question is, I know the internet has a short, well, it never forgets, but it also has a short memory. Can he come back ever? Let's say 5 years from now.
You can never say never.
I don't know. Yeah.
You can never say never. It really just depends on somebody giving him a chance to give people a chance to remember how great he was at acting versus what the perception is right now. Because it was the same thing with Robert Downey Jr. up until, the MCU, basically. And
Speaking
then
of Robert Downey Jr.,
all that stuff kind of changed.
I did that tweet showing that Robert Downey Jr. did 3 years in prison and was arrested with cocaine, heroin, and a firearm. And people were like, he just had a problem with drugs. How can you equate that to what Jonathan Majors did? And I said, this is the bullshit that I'm exactly talking about.
Well, that's
that kind of empathy that the white man will get But the black man, who we don't even got to read into it, he's a monster.
Well,
And he's
I
a
mean,
woman
like,
beater.
I
first
will
of all,
say-
it's
Go
not
ahead.
really empathy. It's like at the end of the day, they're two different charges. One is he got accused of intentional assault, and then Depp he went to jail for fucking drugs. Like those are two separate things,
Yeah.
you
And a
know?
gun.
And a gun, but like, did he use the gun? No. So
That's
there's
the
like,
bar. You got to shoot somebody. You
I'm
got to
just
you got to pop a cap in somebody's
okay.
ass.
Well,
What?
that's the difference between assault and drug use. Ever, yes. So he
Okay.
would have had to have hurt somebody.
If
Yeah.
if
Or
a black guy's caught with drugs and a gun, I just don't think it's gonna go the same way.
Oh yeah, I mean,
But
of
that's
course
just
that's
me.
gonna go
Well,
differently. But
first
he-
of all, it wouldn't have
again,
it would
Robert
never
Downey
made it to
Jr.
court.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. still went to jail. Like he still went to
Yeah.
prison. So he quote unquote served his debt to society, quote unquote, and then he got sober. And the MCU, first of all, the MCU is looking it's looking a little.
And they
fucking
weren't
rough
owned by
right now.
Disney back then. If we're gonna,
They
be
weren't
fair.
owned by Disney.
Yeah, if they
MCU
were owned by Disney, they would not have hired him.
No,
If they were owned by
agree.
Disney back
I
then.
agree with that.
And then also, somebody mentioned Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin, he was accused and arrested in like 2004. He served his quote unquote debt to society, so that's pre-Marvel.
That
Jim,
never
they
went to trial.
mentioned Jeremy Renner's wife accused him of being abusive, but there's not a trial there, so he didn't get arrested. Therefore, they're like, all right, come on over, fucking wife beater. I think the difference is like public scrutiny. I think the difference is there. I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, did you guys know about Jeremy Renner being accused of being?
I
heard
only
about it.
learned after people started
Yeah,
throwing his
same.
name out there.
Okay,
the
so
only
that's
one I
not-
knew about was Robert Downey Jr. because I had followed his career.
Okay,
since-
so that's what I mean. Because it wasn't as heavily publicized. I mean, I heard about it when it happened. I heard about it, but that's because some YouTubers I watch were covering it, right? But like, it wasn't as heavily publicized as the Jonathan Majors case. Now, I will say this: I do think he was railroaded. It's like you were saying, this is a fucking misdemeanor and a goddamn violation, right? Like, of course, the two other charges, but they're in the third degree. You know what I'm saying? Like, assault charges, sure, but still, you know, I do think that if he had taken, I actually disagree. I think if he had taken like a plea and like just copped to it, which whatever, right? I think people would have just forgotten about it eventually, because especially if it had happened back when it first happened, you know, where it's just like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna quietly accept this plea and just keep it moving. Instead, he decided to do like this drawn out, not super drawn out, but a drawn out court case, and then the publications are all
dumbass lawyer.
splashing. And it had the chance for more information that did not paint him in a good light to come out.
That
And
good
then
old
the
discovery.
I think, like, honestly speaking, I do agree with the concept of him having to clear his name, but at the same time, it might have just been better for him to just take, if they had like offered a plea. Well, that being said, again, I do think they railroaded him. I do. I think that given what he was actually fully charged with, again, what people are painting him as some woman beating monster, and that's not what he was charged with, you know? People, I mean, again, that post that accused him of being a rapist had like 300,000 views on it and barely anybody correcting it and a bunch of retweets. I mean, I know Twitter matters not when it comes to certain situations, but someone calling you that's a big thing, you know? So I think in the court of public opinion, they really fucked him, honestly speaking. No lube, no Vaseline.
Yeah. And for those that care, Alvin Bragg is a black guy. That he's DA that decided to go with this. Just so we all have that context. Not that that means anything. I'm not saying it means anything. I'm just saying.
I just
wanted
think that
people
means
to have that
he's-
information.
I just feel like that just means that he sees somebody out there that he can go after with a big name to, you know.
Yes, because he's going up for re-election.
Exactly. I mean, that's, you know, self-benefit right there.
So,
you know, I think it's I think I agree with you guys that he definitely put himself in this position, one by being with a woman that he already knew was not image wise providing him what he needed for a partner, you know, clearly through some of the text messages and the recording about her activities. and him not being cool with it. Like look, if she's rolling and behaving in a way that you
Like if
don't
she's rolling in
feel
cocaine, I'm sorry, go ahead.
right.
Wait, hold on. Okay, go ahead, Slow-Mo. But there was one video in the trial where they were at a restaurant. This is right before the thing goes down, and you know how he's talking to her about her alcohol use. So he goes to the bathroom. She takes the full glass of wine and chugs it like a fucking beer. It's hilarious. But anyway.
Yeah, clearly, like he's trying to turn a woman that is not of the kind of character that he wanted.
There's a term for that.
Yeah. I ain't gonna say it, but you know what the term is, right? Now, it's interesting because it's I've seen people act like he's being treated so wrong. He's being railroaded. He's the victim here. All the stuff that's happening, and they ruined his career. But no one knows who Nate Parker is. No one knows. Like, you want to talk about a black man being railroaded in Hollywood?
Yeah,
that's
a
Nate Parker.
That was a real
railroading.
For everyone in the chat, no, I am not asleep. It's just I have to get up early, and plus I don't have much to talk about on this particular subject.
No worries, Ben. I'll catch you later.
Fine. Go ahead.
Yep.
Get out of here, bro.
Get some rest, buddy. Merry
Gotta
Christmas.
get up early.
Ho, ho, ho. Have a good holiday, bro.
Yep. Merry Christmas.
Yes,
Have a
sir.
good
Yes, sir.
one.
Happy holidays and all that.
But,
yes, indeed.
Slow-Mo, before
I
we
do
get
have to
into-
leave.
Yeah, I figured that.
Well, in a couple of minutes. But go ahead, Luca.
Okay, well, before you leave, I did want to ask. I just wanted to point out. Okay, I just want to throw this out here. So Spyglass is allegedly delaying Scream 7 because they're begging on their hands and knees, allegedly, trying to get Melissa Barrera back. Christopher Landon, who was set to direct Scream 7, has left the project. So currently, Scream 7 has no cast and no director. Yeah, sucks to suck, I guess. I don't know.
I'm gonna tell you what was going to happen with this now. Remember after Scream 3, when they went through a long time period of not doing another movie, and they basically had to do one of those, we're just gonna let the IP rest a little bit. Maybe the current climate or the way the customers feel about it will have a different feel if we revisit this a decade from now with different characters or whatever, right? They're gonna have to do that with Scream now. I don't think that this movie's gonna come out anymore. Scream 7 is gonna happen. Any actors or directors that get attached to this now are going to be looked at from the overall public differently. Yeah. And they're also going to be looked at by other actors in the union differently as well. Like, oh, so you can go work for them after they treated like your fellow colleagues a certain kind of way. You lose your director, you're going to have to bend over backwards to get Melissa to come back. And honestly, I don't think she should. What kind of working relationship are you going to have with Spyglass after all this? Clearly, they don't really want you back. They just need you back because of the situation. And
she should make them pay for it.
Yeah. You're not getting Nev Campbell back. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if old girl from Friends also chooses to bow out, because like now being involved with it negatively affects your image.
Yep. That's that's all they care about is their fucking image,
Right. Their image is everything. And so I just feel like they're going to have to just put the IP on the shelf for like minimum like 5 years, let things cool down, then revisit it again when people aren't going to be thinking about everything that happened. And Melissa won't be attached. More than likely, Nev will probably be like a cameo, if that. And they're going to have to reboot it with completely new characters and hopefully have a script that actually works. But like they can't go forward.
And if you really think about it, that didn't really work for Scream 4 because the movie did not do well. So to the point where they put it on ice for another 10 years. So, I mean, I love Scream 4, but financially after the disaster of Scream 3, like, the The
yeah,
disaster image-wise, because the movie did
yeah.
okay financially, so.
Yeah, but I mean,
Hey.
but it's a common tactic that they do. Remember Spider-Man 3?
Yes, I do.
Completely bombed, awful movie. They rebooted everything. You know, rebooted the main actor for Peter Parker, rebooted literally all of it after Spider-Man 3 and started over. It's a common move that Hollywood makes when the IP is a valuable commodity, but the situation in the moments and everything around it is so bad that if you go forward with another movie, it's guaranteed to be a failure. So you might as well just put a pause on it and reboot, figure it out later on. Because why waste the money? But I gotta run. I got actually freaking work to do on December 23rd. So
Hey, I know exactly what that feeling is. I had to work all day through my birthday because there was a production issue and it was the last release of the year. And that was like up until Wednesday where we were still dealing with the fallout from that deploy. And in those 4 days, maybe I slept like 3 hours a night. So
Jesus,
I
man.
I know how you feel, sir. But happy holidays, sir, in case you got, in case we don't
absolutely, man.
Happy holidays, bro. Thanks so much for coming through. Appreciate it. We're actually going to do these channel member topics. There's only a couple and then wrap it up. So you can go ahead and head out whenever.
All right, peace out, guys.
Peace.
Later, bro.
All right, let's do...
Luca, did you get a chance to watch When Evil Lurks? That movie
No, I still
was
need to
raving
watch
about?
it.
Really good.
All right.
Highly recommend.
No spoilerinos. I still need to watch it. But all right. So shout out to Marquis saying happy holidays to you guys and have a safe weekend. What's your worst Christmas gift? I would say the worst gift I got was when I didn't get any gifts at all. Like that has to be it for me. It wasn't a particular gift. It's just like there was just one year where I didn't get anything. Really. So what about you guys?
My mom's birthday is on Christmas, so Christmas is never really about me. And then at home, like with the missus and the kids or whatever, because I'm a grown man and I just buy stuff when I want it, I'm the most difficult person to shop for. So I usually get like things like socks or a nice dinner or something like that. I don't know. I don't like every Christmas is nothing. It's more, and when you get kids, it's more about you giving gifts. The worst Christmas for me is like when it's a rough year and I can't give the gifts that I want to give. I know that's like cheating, but like it's like a dad thing.
Yeah, I hear you.
Gifts are never great.
No, I agree with that. I mean, my oldest daughter's birthday is November 30th. My wife's December 21st. So it's like I just feel like I'm screaming at all pockets when Christmas comes around. I really can't say I had a worse. I mean, I've always gotten something for Christmas, but I can't say there's ever been anything I was just disappointed in because I usually do. And it's the thing, and I try to talk to my wife about it too. It's like once you get to a certain age, you just kind of buy everything you want throughout the year. And it's kind of hard to be like, what do you really want? Like I ask her all the time, what do you want? But then what do you buy a person that literally buys anything that they see they want throughout the year? And it's the same thing for me. So I appreciate the things she does buy, even if it's something that I wasn't kind of thinking of. And it's kind of out the blue. And you'll always appreciate what your kids get you because, they just, most of the time it just comes because they think they see you like certain things. So I never really had a bad gift. Maybe like you said, some socks or something like that, but usually you get so much stuff throughout a year. I can't really say it was bad.
Yeah. All right. Imar says, I'm trying to think of something outside the obvious. Do you guys go on break for the holidays? And if so, what are some of y'all's plans? Hope you and your families are safe and well, Lord willing. Thank you so much. Appreciate you and you as well, Marquis. For me, we every year we go to my aunt and uncle's house. I'm trying to get better about actually using my PTO because, like, for a very long time, I would never use my PTO, and it would all get like piled up until the end of the year, and we'd have to rush and scramble to use it. But this year, I took I've been taking a lot of days off, and I took Tuesday and Wednesday of last week off, and I worked from home on Thursday. So I'm trying to get a little bit better about like actually taking my days. But my company also has a very generous, they're very generous with what days they allow you to have off for the holidays. So, what about you guys? Any plans?
I am taking a big vacation in February, so I'm not really gonna do it now. But nobody's really working, so it's like I'm gonna, it's like a vacation. I just need to be available in case something breaks. What I am taking a break from though is podcasting. I came on to talk about this, but I'm doing no podcasts in December. Back at it in January, and then we're planning a big thing in February. So that's what it is on my end.
Sweet.
Yeah, so being in retail sucks because you don't get vacations during the holidays. I did already talk to my because it's something that me and my wife have been talking about, because we kind of do want to at least at some point get away for at least a portion of the holiday. So I already talked to my DM about it. I was like, yo, listen, after Christmas next year, I'm just letting you know I'm not going to be here for New Year's. So we're going to go see my mom's. She lives in St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands. So
Okay, sir.
And the thing is unfortunate because I haven't been to go see my mom. Like, my mom comes up here like every other year because my brother lives in Florida, so she splits between us. So she was down there this year. She came here last year, but I haven't been down to see her since my oldest daughter was 1, and she's 18 now. So I haven't been to the Virgin Islands since 2005, and I feel bad about that. I talk to her all the time, but I was like, I need to go see my mom. So I said, I just got to find time to go. So we made the plan. So not this year because, money and all, but the goal is usually 2 days after Christmas, like the 26th, 27th are pretty busy for returns and stuff like that. But we're planning on going to the Virgin Islands to go see her for New Year's before the kids go back to school that first week of January. So that's the goal for me. I got to do something because you got to spend time with family as much as you can, and I got to take advantage of my mama living in a very, very nice climate when it's really, really cold here.
That's very fair, very facts. I hope you have a lot of fun with that, man.
Absolutely.
And I hope they give you that time off. All right. So shout out to Amar. Thank you. And then
I
Ronald.
already told him I'm taking that. He ain't
Yes.
gotta
Okay, King. All right.
He giving me
Ronald
that.
says, I know people like to talk bad about Nintendo, but they have a variety of different games and they're not scared to gamble on bringing something new and unique. What would you want Sony to bring different that may be unique and new to the gaming experience? Oh, that's a great question. I don't know if honestly speaking, I am not a creative in this space, so I can't think of what they could do creatively gaming gaming wise. Um, but something new to them. I mean, I guess I can channel BG and say more emphasis on multiplayer. I mean, that's not something for me, but I know that BG is like really into that as well. What about you guys? What do you think?
So the thing is about Sony, I would love to see them do more games like Astrobot, right? I don't
Okay,
like
yeah. Mhm.
because that was something that was like very creative. And people like to poo-poo on this stuff, but if you want more, the reason Nintendo's able to do those unique things is because they're not spending $300 million on a sequel.
That's fair,
Right.
yeah.
And I think what I'd like to see Sony do that's new is focus on be less risk averse, which means bring down your budget, do things like Hi-Fi Rush, do things like Astrobot. I don't even think Ratchet and Clank cost that much money to make. And so yeah, that's not a crazy budget, I think they need to do more like that so they can experiment with more gameplay. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to spend 220 million, 315 million on a game, it has to talk to the largest possible audience, which means you have to file down the edges and you have to do what it has a proven track record, and then things begin to feel samey. And I worry that while their visual fidelity is amazing, they make a very clear style of game, and that could turn on them fast, and it won't have anything to do with the quality dipping. Well, maybe I'm not saying that the quality will dip, but I was going to say that the MCU right now, they used to average $1 billion a movie, right? The Marvels just came out and it was 200 million that they made, right? The budget didn't go down, right? The VFX are going through the roof, and people's tastes change. So if Sony doesn't go spend some effort on diversifying their portfolio, they could be in trouble. I'm not saying they are in trouble. I am saying they could be if they don't. So bring the budgets down. And remember, these are the people that brought you Parappa the Rapper, right?
That was a different era.
No, but they could do that again. You just have to do these AA stuff. Some of the best games I'm playing right now, Wordless, which is a turn-based 2D platformer, if that makes any sense, right? I'm playing a game called Cookie Cutter, right? This is like if Ori and Hollow Knight had a lesbian Terminator baby. It makes sense if you play the game. But the point is, it feels different. It's something new, and I think Sony could do that, but they just have to do smaller things that take more chances.
So I agree with that, but I also think that you're talking about a demographic of gamers that won't accept that as what they want from PlayStation, or even when it comes to Xbox, because the dynamic is so skewed and different. If you think about the most successful games, like when it comes to sales and how much they cost, I would probably say Grand Theft Auto 5 of like the more modern stuff is probably the only game that has a ridiculous budget behind it, probably north of $300 million or maybe $400 or $500 million, that you can say literally can surpass that number. And we could pretty much just guess that what GTA 6 is going to be, but they're going to smash that number compared to like something like Mario Kart 8 that is basically a remaster of a game from all of their basically generations of their games, starting with the Wii U, and then they brought back all the tracks. That game probably doesn't cost them maybe 60 million. We don't know, but just knowing that Ratchet and Clank was something that cost 80 million to make. I mean, I don't know what the development of those games are from Nintendo, but it probably didn't cost them that much to make.
But
a Mario Kart,
I don't think in today's world, 80 million is cheap. Right?
No, it's not. No, it's not cheap. No, it's not cheap. But I'm just saying, but in the eyes, like the only reason the Astrobot can happen and people actually play it is because it was a package with your PlayStation.
100%. But I'm just saying
the only reason. That's the only reason people played it. No, I agree with that. But I would love, like I said, but the biggest thing is the dynamic of who's going to buy and play it. Like if that's something like that's on Nintendo, maybe, because that player base has been basically raised on the fact that I'm willing to play a Mario Wonder that might have cost $100 million at most to make, if even that, maybe 60. Who knows how much? We're willing to do that. We're willing to play, Captain Code Treasure Tracker. or a Pokemon game that might cost $60-70 million to make.
But here's the thing: that last Pokemon definitely should not have cost $60-70 million to make. But
it shouldn't have. But guess how much money it made, though.
Sure, but here's the thing: when you have smaller budgets, you don't need to sell 10 million copies, right? And so if maybe you only sell 3 million, but if you got a $50 million budget, maybe you're good with 3 million.
And
that's a successful endeavor.
Yeah,
right. And I'm not saying I don't want the big ones. And someone in the chat mentioned Returnal. That is another game that did not cost a lot of money to make, but it brought new things to the table. I didn't really like how they implemented the roguelite. It's my favorite game that I hate because I'm not good enough to beat it. But
I beat
things
Returnal,
like
and that was definitely a traumatizing experience.
exactly. You were better than
Biome
me.
3. Biome 3. That's all I'll say. Those who know, know.
But
those who know,
again,
know.
I think they need to scale back and do things like that, smaller budgets. And again, just that alone, I promise you'll see more creative things.
Yeah, I think just to answer her question outright, for me, more of those smaller experiences would be something. I definitely echo what BG says about multiplayer being the thing, being a person that's mostly skewed towards multiplayer. I would love to have that be on PlayStation more pronounced, but I also just believe in the fact that Sony, everybody has something that they're good at. I think Sony just needs to really focus on the things that they are truly, truly good at and build upon that. You know, it's a reason that all of these platforms are here and all of these different experiences are there. So if the experience that you want isn't on that platform, you know, then there's a platform out there that can actually do it for you. So if this was a question more of if you're only a PlayStation gamer, then yes, all of these things we're talking about. And if you only can afford to have one system, absolutely. We want all these different things that you can get, like these experiences you can get on PlayStation or Nintendo or Xbox in general. But it's real simple. If they don't got it, get a platform that does have it, because there's no reason for you never to not have the type of experience as a gamer that you want, because they're all out there. It just comes down to if you're willing to dish out for the ridiculous amount that this hobby is going to cost to be able to experience all those games.
Nice. Okay. Appreciate the well thought out answers. And okay, so shout out to Iman, FTW, Drav, Starchild Swag, Imar, Damien, Outlaw, Mr. Dolo, DQ, Tevin, Ronald, Phil, Dealer, MJ, Henry, Dirk, King Metrochan, Meat Puppet, Scroat, John John the Don, Dorenza, Stone, Starbuck, Kinney, DC, Big Daddy, Smitty, S. White, Sub Negro, Jazzy, Dominic, Sir Duck, Sycamore, Zion, Breesky, Corey, Light Strife, Pepitio, Nautical Jet, Envy, Slomo, and Hannibal for being members of the channel. Appreciate you guys for supporting me in this way. Shout out to all the super chat support. Shout out to everyone who hung out with us in the chat. Shout out to everyone who listens later. Really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to those who celebrate. And I hope you guys have a wonderful time with your families, or just, you know, with yourself, if anything. I'm very curious to see what everybody gets. I got a lot of presents for my family, so I'm excited for them to get that. I gave my sister her present early because she's the only one who would take it. Everybody else wants to wait, but
so people want their gifts on Christmas.
Okay, all right. You know, so but yeah, I will. Oh, my mom got me a Stanley Cup, and am I using it early? Yes. She also got me some Uggs, some really cute Uggs. So I got my presents early from her.
Hey,
you know.
Lucas, speaking of presents, this Steam Deck OLED that I got here, when I ordered it, the missus saw like the charge, because, you know, we got the shared accounts or whatever, and she's like, "What is this?" I was like, "That's what you bought me for Christmas. Thanks."
Exactly.
I thought you was going to say that. I thought you was going to say Steam gave it to you for Christmas for free because you canceled it and they actually still sent it to you. That's what I thought you was going to say.
Thank you, babe. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Gabe. I'm not going to be the good Samaritan and send this back.
All right. But yeah, so love you guys so much. Please be safe. Keep it going. And be easy, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us today on this unexpected and early show, because I did definitely say last week we weren't doing shit, but I'm glad that we all came through. We had a lot of fun, good conversation. Ever, thank you so much for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, man. I did not want to talk about this on my show because it's like a sausage fest, and I feel like I needed like a female voice there to just balance out the stuff that I wanted to say. So thank you for allowing us to have this conversation.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we've been covering this Jonathan Major situation since it first happened. What I really enjoy about the show is that we talk about things that are not just like gaming related. So it's fun to talk about like real life stuff. Not a fun topic, but it's fun to talk about real life stuff, you know, just like we did with the 80s, 90s conversation. So, all right, Nautical was goody, my boy.
Yeah, dog, gonna be a great time. No DPS next week. We will see you guys in the new year. It's gonna be fun. A lot of changes coming to the show. We're gonna have fun with that. Be on the lookout for more information on that. And peace, love. Enjoy your weekend, guys, and have a good weekend. Be safe because people out here don't know how to drive, and we definitely want to see you all in the chat when we come back over the course of the holiday. So be safe out there.
All right, bye, guys.